Yeah.
It's also good luck and Godspeed.
Are we live?
Yeah. Oh, we're live. Hi. Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to this special episode of the Paper Dungeon. This is going to be a fun talk show episode. Some of you guys have been sending questions into us all week long, and so we're really excited to get to answer a lot of those. We do have a few announcements that we're going to do before we really get into it. I think Aaron's going to take our first one, so we'll just get started right with that.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I play Tarak on the Paper Dungeon. First announcement. This Wednesday, we'll be doing something very similar for our short little mini campaign, Between the Rows. I will be taking over the chair that DJ is in. It's going to be great. Next up is, I think that's it. Hannah?
Yeah,
you're good?
Don't forget to send us questions.
Yeah, send us questions for that on hashtag Ask the Paper Dungeon on Twitter or Ask TPD. I'm bad at this. Or the silver Instagram post. The silver Instagram post.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hi everybody, I'm Hannah. I play Melora, and we just opened our merch shop. So we have shirts, stickers, mugs, beanies, hats, the whole 9 yards. We have our logo. We have I'm sorry for what I said while I was role playing, and we have pocket gingers. So what else could you ask for?
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Yeah. So for some of that merch, the shirts, all the cups and the mugs and the stickers should all be released at the same time. The shirt that we gave away, the one that we all own, is currently in the store. And then next week and the week after that, we'll be releasing our other two shirts, the I'm sorry for what I said when I was role playing, and the pocket ginger shirt. So just be on the lookout for that.
Is that on our website, DJ?
It is, Grant. Yeah, go over to thepaperdungeon.com to check that out. Yeah, it's super exciting. Something else that's super exciting, we have a new person on the cast at the moment. This is Nathaniel. Wow. He's a very, very good friend of ours. He helped set up the sets and get us connected with light guys, and a lot of the crew has been very, very vital to make this happen. And so we're super excited that he gets to be here. He's super, super smart and insightful, so we're excited for all the fun questions that you guys sent and his input on all those. So that should be really, really awesome too. Do you have anything you want to say?
Hi, my name's Nathaniel. I play the microphone on the Paper Dungeon. Strap in. This is going to be great.
Yeah, very much so. All right. Should we get started with this craziness? Yes. All right. Well, we'll get started with this special edition episode of the Paper Dungeon then.
Hey, so we're just going to start off by asking you guys a couple questions.
Perfect.
All right. First question from False Gamble. Battle Royale.
Oh.
All the characters. Who wins?
At what level?
Yeah.
This is a good question.
Probably now.
With how we are right now, I would say Melora. Yeah.
Easily.
A little self-confidence.
Okay.
A little bit.
Greg, you want to say something?
I'm thinking. Cather took out a two-headed giant in a few fell swoops. And he has Divine Smite, right? It's a good point. He does have to hit first. Anybody have any other?
I will say, though, really quickly, Cather has to be next to you to hit you. Melora could be like a mile away. And Melora could be like in a tree like 10 yards out, and you wouldn't even know what hit you. So, yeah, and like I said, Cather just needs to actually hit, and he never really does that. So.
But when he does, it's good.
Yeah. It's 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10.
Hold on. Okay, just saying. First of all, sorry. Unfair question, because Tarak is non-violent. This shouldn't even be allowed.
Just died.
This isn't acceptable. First of all, I'm thicker than any of these people, all right? And some of us are level 3 and the others are level 2. I'd like to just bring that up.
That's true.
So, Cather's getting murdered.
Very nice.
He brought up what I was going to bring up. So.
Personally, I think that Ginger would win.
Oh, that's very fair. That's very fair.
If I'm just a permanently wild-shaped druid into a squirrel. None of you are ready for that, though. I understand. Next question is from Dice of the Winds. How is it that the infamous DJ just looks absolutely stunning in every single stream? I just have to have your routine.
I will not be answering questions at this moment. Next question.
He washes his face with salt, just raw salt.
Yeah, check out Patreon for my morning routine.
All right, better question from Chase Loops. How did you all get introduced to D&D, and what was your guys' first games like?
Yeah, let's just go down the line. I had a couple different first sessions, we could say. I had a friend of mine, Diego, who took me to Florida to visit his brother, and his brother played D&D, and I played for about 15 minutes before my character got killed, and so I didn't really actually play the game. And then a few years later, he ran a little one-shot that we played in, but my first real game was Ryan's home game that we played throughout high school, where all the guys eventually played in at some point. And so, yeah, I played this necromancer wizard who, yeah. The man was, I rolled really good stats. And so, yeah, that was kind of my first game. And I've just been playing ever since. It's been pretty rad. So, yeah.
Was it also why we love it, or was it just how we got introduced?
How you got introduced, and what your first game was like?
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so I've been playing since middle school. My brother got into it first and DM'd, and it was like our family game night thing for a while. So that was really cool. My first character was an elf bard. And it was really fun because I like to sing, and I would make up songs in the middle of the session, so it was fun.
I got started around the same time as Aaron and the rest did. I believe 5e was just coming out. Yeah, it was 5e was just coming out, and we were, I think, talking in one of our classes in high school, and he was just like, yeah, and he was just like, he's like, dude, I'm getting some people together to play some D&D. You want to play? I'm like, yeah, dude. And my first game, I played a rogue. Come full circle. But I think that rogue honestly was a lot more tactful as far as how he stole. He was more of the traditional I'll pickpockets, I'm gonna roll a lot of sleight of hand. Meanwhile, Haval out here is just grabbing things because he thinks they look cool. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just how it goes. But yeah, I think I got our party thrown out of a town because I stole a dagger or something.
So many things.
I've been the cause of plot for a long time.
Ryan is guilty of many crimes.
Yeah, I'm guilty of many crimes, many character deaths, many of which are my own. But yeah.
So my dad has actually played D&D since high school. So I always knew about D&D, but I was like, that's so nerdy. I'm not a nerd. And then through some close relationships, I was encouraged to play. And so I decided to give it a shot. And at first, and then this goes to my first game. My first game, I was super afraid to be serious about it, so I made a really jokey character and didn't want to commit. And then I realized how much more fun it is when you commit and have a story and are committed to your character and things like that. And so we killed her off in the next session. She was fed to crocodiles. And now I'm here. So
From now you're becoming crocodiles.
I mean,
Full circle.
Yet again. I mean, like DJ, I actually had a couple different first experiences with D&D. I had a friend back in high school who first introduced the term D&D to me, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And he's like, oh, it's like this game, you roll dice and you go go around on this tabletop map and you go kill dragons and stuff. I'm like, do you roll dice to move around? And the first game I actually ever played was with my uncle playing 4E. So that was a different experience. But I'd say the first real experience playing 5e would and similar to how at least the stream runs and how we play nowadays, I'd say was when I joined Ryan's campaign. I also played a wizard. I like my brother because wizard is the best class.
False.
And yeah, it was great time ever since. So.
I had to break one of you guys sooner or later.
Ready? Ready?
Woo!
Oh gosh. All right. My name is Grant. I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon cast, and I was introduced also by our friend Diego. It was probably early high school, I'd think, and Aaron and Ryan. Ryan was actually my first DM. I was introduced to the game, or we were starting or something. I'm foggy on the details, but I played a barbarian Aasimar. Is that how you say it? Aasimar.
Well, there's like 10 different ways people say
It was that one though. And I had wings and stuff. Yeah. I know. I've been playing this game for a long time. I promise.
Oh right. And you
Yep.
kept doing things that were evil.
No.
Okay. We're gonna go into this just like slightly. I won't take up much time. But he was playing an Aasimar, and I explained to him, I'm like, you're lawful good. You're good alignment. I was like, and he understood alignment. He was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna be a good guy. I'm a good guy. I'm trying to be a good guy. And then his Deva kept trying to get him to do these righteous things. And then casually, just in the midst of all that, he'd be like, I'm gonna rob from this old man. I'm gonna go into the shed and just start stealing tools. And I'm just like,
My go-to is peeing in people's shoes.
Who hurt you?
It was just fun.
I just don't get it.
It was just a good time, and I liked the inner conflict. So that was my first game. Oh, I upset a god, and Aaron's character just saved the party from this god fight, which you can talk about.
So I'm really good at Dungeons and Dragons. I actually
Call him a pro gamer.
yeah, some may say it's big brain plays. I actually started playing Magic the Gathering first, and then at that local game store, they were like, "Hey, we're starting up a D&D game. We're looking for players and stuff." So I was like, "Heck, I like Magic the Gathering. I like video games. Sounds cool." So I played that, and then a month later, I found a whole bunch of friends, and I was like, "Hey, we should totally play Dungeons and Dragons." And thankfully, the only people I knew were nerds. So they were like, "Sure, I guess." I brought Ryan's edgy self from Orchestra, a couple other good friends. And so my real first game, I was DMing, which was fine. It was fine.
You convinced me that you knew everything, but we really
No, not at all. But yeah, that's where I started. And then I brought just a bunch of random other people into games slowly. Yeah, it's not that exciting. I don't do a whole lot.
Nowadays. Yeah. But now.
Nowadays we do know all the rules.
Especially Grant. Grant knows all the
Grant
rules.
Grant is much better at this game.
Grant, how much movement do you have to spend when you get up from being prone?
15 feet.
That's actually wrong. The correct answer is half, which for most is 15.
For you, it works.
For Edward, it's 15 feet.
So,
We'll count it because
Moving on.
yeah, yep.
Next question is for Aaron as Tarak.
Sick.
Are there any are the stories and myths Tarak tells pre-scripted, or do you just make them up, or both?
So, yes. I have a lot of stories pre-written. The first one that I told, which was the Shieldborn. Yeah, one of Jormungandr's 3 core tales. I've had those written for a long time. It's actually a location in the world, because I was like, "Hey DJ, I came up with this cool concept," and he was like, "Yo, can I put that in my world?" I was like, "Sick." But then I also will eventually, as assuming people want stories, come up with impromptu ones and other things like that. I just really like folk tales. They're some of my favorite things. Folk tales, folk songs, I'm a big fan of, and they're very important to Tarak. So you'll probably be seeing more of them in the future.
Nice. That's really awesome. Next question is probably for DJ. Bree Reckless. who first thought of the idea of streaming a campaign and sort of creating a podcast among you guys, and how long did it take you to talk the other people into it?
So throughout high school, as we had been introduced to a few different streams, we had talked about it, but it always been like it always been something where it was like we could never do it to the quality of production that we'd want to do it because we were poor high school students. And then when COVID hit, Ryan and I, who live here in Idaho, went back to Nebraska to do our quarantine. And I saw someone on TikTok who was a part of another show, kind of in the similar style that we have it, where they all stream in and stuff like that. And so that really got me going into kind of the idea behind we could actually do this. We could do the stream. And so Aaron had some of the thoughts, and we had talked about going into business before together. So I approached him first and was like, hey, would this be something that you'd be interested in doing? At which point he said yes. So then I got all the rest of the guys on, and we had a few different people that we could have chosen, but I'm very happy with the people that we did. And then after that, after we chose these set of guys, we were like, yo, we want girls on the stream because girls just think different and they react differently. And they're literally just built different.
Them girls, they just be built different, folks.
And
You heard it first here.
Yeah, so then we started going through TikTok because there's a huge D&D community on there. Most of you guys are from it. Thank you so much. Hi, we love you guys. And then we found Lydia, and then she introduced us to Hannah, and it's been great ever since. So.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
So when we used to talk about like this would be a really cool thing to put out there, I don't know if it was ever really serious. We were just like, man, wouldn't that be fun? And then when the pandemic happened and Ryan and DJ came down back from Idaho, we did some D&D sessions over Zoom, and I think that also helped jumpstart the process of thinking for you guys, like we could do this and just put it out there and build a community. And so without the pandemic, this wouldn't have happened. So yeah, kind of crazy. And we're actually really thankful that we got this chance because out of high school, I don't know why I'm getting kind of emotional right now. I didn't know if we would ever play again, like ever in our lives. And so for me, I'm really thankful that we can now do this and like keep our bonds like beyond high school. It's really nice.
To add on to that, like I like how Grant mentioned how he didn't really think that it was a possible thing up until like we started doing the Zoom kind of games and started playing. And I think the realization that hit me was like, oh, we can actually make quality content and play at the level we want to play at, like role play wise, and like have the same effect. Was actually when we had these little games that we ran with Lydia and Hannah previous to them actually like officially being a part of our crew, just to make sure that, you know, we had the same play style and that we, you know, meshed well and our personalities worked well. And I think it was literally the exact moment when I decided to make my barbarian a sad boy, and Hannah made me almost cry during the final moments of those games.
And
so
Lydia's Lydia.
Lydia was just adorable the entire game. So I mean, it definitely like brought it on to me like, oh, okay, cool, we can make quality content. Like these people like are serious, and like we are like together. I feel like we have enough good brains on our on our shoulders, right, to like really just make content. And so far it's been a blast. So yeah.
Hannah and Lydia are both brilliant. They're very talented, and we're very thankful to have them on the cast. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be a thing. So everybody in chat, we can't see it right now at this moment, but everybody in chat just spam "we love Lydia and Hannah."
It's true. It's kind of crazy how, not to keep this question too long, but it's kind of crazy how we've talked about how it just kind of worked out so well that each of the skills and talents that we each possessed was exactly what we needed to make this happen. Like, I'm very good at organizing things. Hannah has a ton of experience streaming beforehand. Ryan could do a lot of the voiceover and is very creative. Lydia is literally our graphics designer, and if you guys haven't been checking out the Instagram recently, that's all her, and she's been freaking killing it. Drew manages the stream. Grant gave us all of the ability to make music and everything like that. Along with Drew writing and producing, and then Aaron helps me organize everything and keep the business side in order. So it's been pretty crazy how well we just meshed together. And then now that we've kind of brought Nathaniel in along with everybody else that's helped us, it's been pretty amazing. So yeah.
Nice. That was awesome. All right. What TikTok did you see of Lydia or Hannah first that made you think she's the one?
I have no clue. They've asked me this a couple times and I don't remember at all. Does anyone remember what we were looking at?
Oh boy.
What's the first one that you guys have seen?
Yeah, that's what
I don't remember.
Okay, what's the first one you guys remember?
So
Now
I
know what you do.
I have a thing.
oh okay, Grant.
We watched almost all of your TikToks each. Like, we scrolled through all of them. So like there's an overload of like we loved them so much. We were like, they're both hilarious and their personalities are perfect. They contrast and we need them with us. That's what it was like.
I think I literally, like, when we first started, like, I was a little hesitant at first when DJ was like, yeah, let's just like recruit people on TikTok, and I'm like, I mean, TikTok, sure, why not? I think there's a pretty decent community of D&D, like, aficionados, like hobbyists there, sure, why not? And then like I don't know, like we had a list of people, and then like we literally scrolled through everything, and in particular to like you and Lydia, like we literally went through your guys' catalog like crazy, and we were like sitting there like in a Zoom call like laughing, like just thoroughly enjoying your guys' content, going, we need these people on. We need, like, and when you mentioned Hannah and everything, like we were like, yes, this person, this is it, this is what we want. So yeah, I mean, all that to say, really stoked that you guys are a part of the group. Like, we're really appreciative of you guys and what you bring to the table. So thank you. And everyone, please do give a resounding thank you to these two, or else you wouldn't really have the content. Or else you wouldn't really have the content that you are currently receiving. Drew, did you want to say something? Or?
Well, as a side point, I actually didn't have TikTok at the time. So I just trusted these guys' opinions of the girls.
Oh. So now you love their TikTok.
I still don't have TikTok.
Oh my god.
All right. More serious question.
Okay.
As individuals, what is it that you love about D&D? Why does this game just hit a little bit different for you?
Let's just move from the
So, if you guys go check out our website, you'll see a quote that we have on there that I made. But I've always loved D&D for being kind of an escape from reality. It allows me to kind of not have to worry about the fact that we're moving or that we have to figure out, lease agreements and everything like that. But I can just sit down and be in this world that I got to help create and try and make a great story for my amazing friends. So that's why I really love it.
I have a similar thing, except that you can be and do literally whatever you want. The dice just decide how good you are at it. And I just love that, especially ever since I was little, like, I've always loved Lord of the Rings and everything and just been obsessed with elves. And then, like, just being able to be one and, like, it could be whatever I want. I love that. I love it.
I accidentally nudged the mic. I wasn't trying to, Drew. Thank you, sound guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I used to write short stories a lot in high school, and honestly still kind of think that one day I want to write like a novel or something, or just something along those lines. And I've always liked storytelling and been fascinated with the idea of storytelling, and I think D&D is like the epitome of that, right? You're sitting down with your friends, you're creating this world, this narrative, where we can kind of just get lost in it and explore these fantastical and insane things. And I'm sure, hopefully, the emotion brought to the table when we play kind of translates through. But like it's those highs and lows, right? It's that pure ecstatic when Renaya beat the hag, and then immediate.
Oh my gosh.
If you're not caught up, I apologize, but come on.
If there was a hag.
Or yeah, right. Or like just the highs and lows throughout that session alone. Honestly, I think kind of epitomizes like the fact that we throughout the course of an entire game go from being like comedic to being ecstatic over an event to immediately like feeling this crushing weight on us because of like DJ being the masochist that he is, or sadist, sorry, both, honestly, let's be real. But yeah, story, man, the story.
D&D is really weird because it's like you guys were saying, it's like an escape, but at the same time, for me, it's helped me process so many things and learn so much about myself through being somebody else and getting like an outside perspective on things and things like that. And it's also really cool because not gonna get emotional, but a lot has been happening in my life currently, and I can see reflections of myself in my characters, and it's almost helped me kind of figure out how I want to handle things and how I want to grow and things like that. And then it also has just brought so many amazing connections. Like, these are literally the best friends I've ever had in the world. And it's like,
She's trying to not be emotional.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm all done. I'm going to go now. Bye.
I don't actually like playing D&D.
Hot take. No nuance November, folks.
No. I mean, very similar to I think a lot of us. I mean, part of the reason that we all connect so well is because we all love, the idea of escaping. And personally, I always like reading story. Like I'm a huge fantasy nerd. Hannah can testify. I love Lord of the Rings. I love everything. I all of it. Star Wars, superheroes, anything nerd, I'm there for. Same with Aaron.
Bionicles.
We are not jumping down that.
We'll be here for hours.
Someone send a question. We'll be ready.
If you guys want Patreon content with these two talking about Bionicles, we will do it.
Spam it in the chat.
I love just the raw, just the fact that you can go anywhere and just do anything, and like it's fully up to you and as the players to like do something, and like there's no like I guess predetermined isn't necessarily the right word, but there are some predetermined outcomes. Plan. There's a plan.
Destined, as Catherine would say.
Yes, as Catherine would say, it's fate is involved. But yeah.
Hi, I'm Grant. I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon cast. What I love about D&D, honestly, my favorite part about it, I think, is interacting with the other players. It gives you a chance to explore different avenues of experience and emotional reaction and care that you can't always experience in your own life. Like, I am not a half-elf bard who like left a noble home. Like that's not who I am. And so,
are you sure, Grant?
I'm pretty sure. I think. But being able to in game put myself in their shoes and think through how do they feel, what do they think, and then seeing how other characters in other positions think and feel and react. That's so interesting to me because I think it's a very good skill to have as a person, to be able to understand someone else and how they think, how they feel, and how they respond to things, and how you can benefit them and vice versa. Understanding. I just love that aspect of the game, thinking through it and then carrying it out.
So as I mentioned, I started off as a DM, and even while I play, I keep a lot of the same mindset. What I love about D&D, It sounds, well, it's a little cocky. But I like giving gifts to other people. So like as a DM, I like to make a story that people will remember and think back on fondly and will influence decisions in the future. Hey, I don't care if you cry. Just because you cry when you think, don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to. But like, especially like as a player, I like to do the same thing. Drew said something about me being one of the most conniving players he's ever played with. Very accurate. Diabolical, yeah. Thank you. But I like to, like, when I play D&D, my favorite thing about it is making situations that can change people's characters and help them evolve or set them up for cool moments or sad moments or terrifying moments. And doing that for myself and other people and just helping people have fun when they play. That's what I love D&D is just because it's fun. Simple as that.
I like D&D. It is fun. Quote Aaron Weber.
Put that on the website.
My name is Aaron. I like D&D. It is fun.
Just to build off of that, not to take anything away, but as I've been listening to you guys, I've realized that I was wrong in the initial sense. That's one of the reasons why I used to love D&D. I still love it for that way, for the reason of for being able to escape. But something I just kind of realized is one of the things that I've come to love so much is seeing you guys play and getting to watch you guys react to the things that I put you in. Thank you. Just like in the last episode, with the excitement and the sadness and everything that you guys got put through and how you reacted to it, and the fact that it's cool because I get to see you guys outside of the stream too and see how it affected you, both you and your character, and like the differences between those and where that lies and stuff like that. Like it's really cool to get to see that for me. So that's another thing that I really like about it.
Sometimes it just feels good to watch them cry.
I mean, you're right. I'm sorry, Lydia. I'll say that right now.
But like when you do it though, when you make them cry or you make them scream as a DM. I know. No. I'm not talking about. I personally don't. I'm not talking about you guys. When
Get him, girls. Get him.
You're also in between us. Yeah. So
when I manage to make DJ, Grant, or Drew have an emotion that's not pure joy, if I can make them scared or sad, I know I've done a very good job. And that, my friends, that is key. When they are crying and they're shriveled up and they just want to keep playing, that's when you know that you fed them. You fed them that good.
Bro, are you okay?
No, I'm not.
All right. So what is the sort of general strategy for making characters? Do you guys pick a race and then a class and then a backstory?
No, I think just one or two people can talk.
Who's this from?
This is from Bree Reckless.
Okay.
All right. I'm a big fan. I like tropes. I like concepts. I start with a vague idea in my brain of some random, I don't know, I just like an archetype almost. Sad orc, yes, summed up in a word, and then I just go from there. Sometimes I choose it. There isn't really an order. I choose a race. Maybe because it just gives the stats that I need. But sometimes it's because of the aesthetic or some random extra ability they have. Maybe I want to run really fast, so I'll choose like someone who runs really fast.
A monk runs fast.
A monk. A monk.
The movement speed of a monk is 35 feet.
Let's take one from the lower.
Okay. I do a similar thing. I kind of decide what I want this character to be like attitude or vibe, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. And then I decide what race and class I think would best fit what I'm going for. Sometimes if there's a character I really admire in a book or a movie or a TV show, I will take inspiration from them.
Does anybody else want to go?
I mean, I'll just. Yeah, Nathaniel does make interesting characters. Yeah, how?
This is true. So I also play D&D. I got into D&D because of Ryan and DJ. They're very good personal friends of mine. They're all right.
I can confirm we are all right.
What I tend to do when I make characters is first of all, I make like 1 million characters at a time. I will draft characters like off a concept. So I'll figure out a concept that I like, and then essentially what I'll do is I'll just keep rewriting the same character over and over again until I feel like this is a character that I would feel comfortable playing, and this like is the truest form of the idea that I want. And that's a lot longer winded process than some people go through to create characters, but than most people go through to create characters. But it's what I have to do to get characters that I feel really good about playing and feel really excited about playing as well. So
I'll just add on to that real quick, because it does seem like the majority of us kind of get like a feel or a concept or a vibe that we want to go towards, and then we kind of just like build on that, right? Like it seems like we kind of like have like a phrase in mind or like a certain like color palette or something, and we're like, yes, this. Does anyone go off of like I just want to play this class and this would be a cool concept? Does anyone? So, does anyone? Drew, do you do that?
Drew. So, I, in a general sense, tend to I do something similar to most everyone else of like, if there's a character concept that I have in mind, then I'll build a class afterward. For this particular stream, I actually went in reverse order because I knew I really wanted to play a paladin, because paladin is one of the classes I had never really got to play like in an extended way. So I work with DJ in creating the whole idea of this Oath of Destiny paladin, which you guys don't even get to see yet. Spoilers.
Exclusives.
What?
Right, shocker, I know, right?
Never happened.
Cut the stream.
Anyway, and so really, after figuring out like what I wanted to do, then I started to create Cather and who he was and how he operates, and it's been and I like similar to Nathaniel. Actually, I went through a couple different drafts of Cather.
Love it.
So yeah,
it's a good way to do things.
yeah, it's great. It's not mind bending at all.
Doesn't break your mind at all. All right. Julia R. Gordon asks, where does one find friends like you guys? Is it Home Depot or Lowe's? Just asking for a friend.
That's my sister. So, first of all, Julia, I love you. I don't know if you're watching or not, but hi. So yeah, you guys have to answer that because you guys found me.
Target.
TikTok or right here? We're right here. We're your friends. We're all your guys' friends. Honestly, we love our community, the like little community that we have so much that honestly, guys, just like hit us up, man. I feel like if any of you guys try to interact with us in any way, we will eat that up. We will gladly respond and hold a conversation. Like, you guys are wonderful, and yeah, not to speak for the group, but
I like to try the clearance rack at Target. You can find them end caps. I am a Target employee, so you can ask me about anything Target related.
not sponsored by Target.
Not sponsored by Target,
Not yet.
but we're willing.
Hey, Target, hit us up.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, friend-wise, D&D is a good way. Go to your local game stores. Not everyone is cool though, but keep searching around. Keep searching around, you'll find them. Just spend that time.
I have a thing. Hi, I'm Grant. I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
I was gonna get. You gotta stop giving him the.
So, high school. Rewind. High school. I was friends with every one of these young men.
I played baseball with them when we were 9.
It's true. It was great. Time for that story later.
We can't unpack all that right now.
Yeah, we can't unpack all that right now. But the point being, at different points of time, I became closer to every one of these guys in different ways. But the really, not in like a savage way, but in my mind, one of the only things that really kept us close throughout our years, like years of friendship, was just playing D&D on Friday nights. Like, that was one of the core things that held us together when we were going through life changes and when we were finding our passions, we all still enjoyed D&D together, and we were still like sitting around a table in our parents' basements, laughing, eating snacks, and sometimes maybe crying. So yeah, that to me, I think D&D is a great way to do that. It helps you find lasting friendships. You can hold that.
Okay. Nice. That's awesome. So it sounds like the consensus for all of you guys is that D&D sort of just helps bring people together in your lives, and it's kind of helped you guys keep going even though times were tough too.
True. Yeah.
And the clearance rack at Target. Yeah.
That's why we're tiny. We're broken.
Also, a dash of trauma helps. Would you guys ever consider making an actual published like RPG?
Yes.
Whoa.
I think.
That's a
I mean, so that's a co-owner thing, but I will say this right now.
Ryan's on board.
I know
Ryan's ready.
I'm on board, and I know that you guys.
We're willing to do what you guys ask for. That's all we'll say.
I'll say more. Yeah.
The tone of voice is weird on that one.
Well, okay. So I don't know. I know that we've talked in the past / present about some things that could interest you. Now, I know that I myself have been personally interested in making like not even like for D&D 5e, but like I've been looking into different like systems and stuff and other ways of like rolling dice for a different look. Hey, top hand, bottom hand, who knows? Yeah. Yeah, watch it. Cut that. But yeah, so I know I've done a lot of my own creation of stuff and I plan to do more in the future. But yeah, I know I would personally love to make even my own RPG system. Will that ever happen? Hard to know.
If you keep the fans coming, and you know the dough rolling in, could happen. It makes it a little easier. Just saying.
You can't subscribe yet. We're working on it. I'm sorry.
If you guys just buy our merch, we would with that money would love to both one pay Lydia for the wonderful things that she's done, and Hannah. And honestly, these two are the only ones that we really need to get paid. Let's be honest. Dustin, we're already paying you, man. It's cool. But I'm gonna be real. I would love to see DJ and I's world in a book. That would be awesome. Like we spent so much time on this board.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Just say.
Hi.
We already know your Grant. You play Edward. Move on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're on a time crunch.
We only have 4 hours.
This is Grant.
okay.
He plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
Thank you very much. Yes, what he said. Disclaimer: we all, one thing I love about this whole thing we're doing, we all have like, as you would guess, because we're humans, like aspirations and things that we're all individually doing, like in our own lives, and so this is something we're all very dedicated to. Like I'm not saying we're not dedicated to this or not going anywhere, but we pretty much put as much as we can into this as we can. And so when it comes to things like a book coming out, like we have big dreams. We have things that we'd love to do with this stream and with this community. But things might take time. And so like right now at this moment, it's not really feasible for us to like really be constructing a book and thinking about publishing. But that is absolutely something that down the road we could think about. So that's kind of that disclaimer. Stay tuned.
Also, I know each one of you has like a massively different backstory. Just you all come from like very different walks of life. Could you guys elaborate a little bit more on some of that, just so that people can see just how broad of a spectrum D&D?
Characters or
People. I think.
As a
Right,
person,
you're talking about people.
As a person, like show us just how broad of a spectrum D&D actually reaches across.
Oh my gosh, just between you and I. My goodness.
This is from me.
All right.
From the heart.
Well, let's see. Middle class Christian white kid is basically how you sum it up in 4 words. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Theater kid, nerd, and I'm a girl.
I love how as soon as we go from talking about our characters to ourselves, we're like,
They feel so seen.
Maybe also say like something you're studying for
Well, you know, I'm still a theater kid, but now I'm a theater kid with professional in front of it, I guess. I get graded on how a theater kid I am.
Professional theater kid TM. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably the farthest separated from all you guys. I'm gonna be real, and that's just on the fact like I didn't hang out with you guys in high school all that much. Like Aaron, Aaron, I hung out with you because we had orchestra, and then D&D is what made me like hang out with you a ton. It was true though. I was like, you know, I was one of those like punks in high school that spent a lot of time at the skate park and stuff. So like, I don't know. I never really spent time with DJ or Aaron or Grant or anything like outside of D&D, but I think that D&D is definitely, it's gotten me to appreciate them in a lot of ways, and it's gotten me to appreciate all of you in a lot of ways, and I'm thankful to have you guys as my friends.
Small creative weirdo who is existing. That is an accomplishment.
We're doing our best here at the Paper Dungeon.
But yeah, no, it's really cool because D&D has actually made me a lot more confident in myself and has actually made me grow a lot. And so it's like I was a completely different person before I started playing D&D. And so it's kind of cool to see that. Because at first I was very isolated, very afraid of doing a lot of things. I'm still afraid of doing a lot of things. But I'm not as afraid.
That's the key. She got on that plane.
She did.
I did. I got on a plane all by myself.
By herself.
Okay.
For
moving on.
reference, she really does not like flying.
I don't like being alone.
Oh, you're here with
None
us.
of us do.
Okay, so I am a total nerd. Like I already said before, primarily in the realm of video games and fantasy, and fantasy video games. Also a huge music nerd, and have worked a lot. Love working with Grant here, working on all the music and stuff like that. So that has been a lot of fun.
All of our music is original, and without Drew, it wouldn't be possible. Big Pog.
Thank you, Grant.
That's your
Keep going. Sorry, I threw you off. Keep going. You're doing great.
He's also a robot.
Oh yes. I forgot to mention. I'm the constructed brother of DJ, not the actual brother of DJ.
Drew is actually a government drone.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Remove the government.
Drew is actually a drone.
Hi there, I'm Grant. I play Edward. You're right. Like this question is harder to answer than like Edward questions. Let's see. I really enjoyed music. I enjoyed theater. I also came from like a Christian household. My father was a pastor and whatnot. He is a pastor. And I also dabbled in some sports. I kind of tried to do a little bit of everything. And I guess that's it. I think I really fell more in love with like music and performance and stuff like that, and adventure stuff like that. I really like that.
Whoa. Stop leaning together. I'm trying to move this cord. Oh geez. Walks of life. Well, I come from a very interesting family background, you could say.
Tame version.
Look, maybe in the future, when if y'all are really interested with delving into who really is Aaron Kleberad, we can get more into it. But I came from a pretty broken home, I would say. Yeah. Family was interesting. Thought I was middle class. Turns out I wasn't. And so in terms of walks of life, I don't know. I think me and Ryan are pretty far. And then then like everyone else is. We ends of the spectrum.
Weird ends of spectrum.
It's spectrum. It's like a circle where there's no end. We're just somewhere in it.
It's kind of funny because both you and Ryan are like so far removed from each other, but also at the same time like so similar.
Aaron is one of my favorite people.
Yeah. So yeah, broad spectrum over here at the Paper Dungeon.
Yes, it's got everything from you, the old pole vaulter, to theater kids, to skaters, to just nerds.
I'm fat.
Oh no! You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Hey.
You're big, you're bold, you're beautiful.
Look, every group needs one. Every group.
He's so huggable.
Big fellas in the chat.
Word up.
Next question.
All right, this is for DJ.
Okay.
How long did making the world take?
It's not done. The world kind of started as when Ryan and I were in quarantine. Actually, same thing. When Ryan and I were in quarantine. No, it was before. It was before that. Last summer, I had 2 winters ago, winter of 2019, I had come out here to Idaho to live with my grandparents for a few months, and I made some friends. And then when I went back for the summer, Ryan ended up deciding to move out with me to Idaho. And so when we were kind of getting all that ready, I had mentioned the fact that I had like 10 or 11 friends that wanted to play D&D and how we couldn't do that all in one session. And so we decided he would DM some and I would DM some. And then we had the idea of having this be like one world where the campaigns are going on at the same time and they're just on different continents and stuff like that. So this world has been over a year in the making. You can see some of the maps and stuff like that we've made. This one's actually very outdated. I basically 2 weeks ago decided that all of the geography in the world wasn't good enough for this cast and decided to redo it all. So I'm working my way through that. Yeah, it was interesting because when we were planning the campaigns that we were doing, I actually planned that whole campaign on a different continent. And then when we decided to do the Paper Dungeon, I had to establish a completely new continent. So it's been super interesting. But yeah, what's up, Leah?
Why are you so good to us?
What are you talking about? He's hurt you the most. That's a good point.
That's I
Well, you guys definitely do most of the work. I just have to make it worth it. So, or I have to give you a stage to do your stuff on. So,
It's a good stage.
As much as making this world has been painstaking and a little bit much, especially when we were planning on doing it, like we had like a time crunch because we were going to do it together. I think my favorite part about it was like just the creative process between DJ and I, right? Like and like if anyone's ever curious about our creative process, I mean DJ's creative process right now, literally recently though, we literally sat in a hot tub 5 feet apart. Shout out to Vine. Rip.
6 feet for COVID.
6 feet for COVID. Yeah. Yeah, but we literally just sat there and DJ was like, "Okay, Ryan, I need this." And I'm like, "Why don't you do it this way?" He's like, "But what if we did it this way?" And I'm like, "Dude." And I think we did that for a lot. Like when you were like, I want enchantment to be different. I was eating Cocoa Pebbles and like him and Nathaniel walked out and we're like, "Okay, we need something for enchantment." I'm just like, "So it's going to be this? I think it should do this." And he's just like, "What if it was reactive?" And I'm like, "This."
I have something small to add, if you don't mind. I'm not gonna say it. I think Aaron's a little more qualified to say this than I, but I believe that the world is also open for tidbits of lore that us as cast members create. So I'll hand it to DJ and Aaron because they were gonna talk about it. I'm Grant. I play Edward. Thank you. This was great.
Okay. Do you want me to? You bring me in.
Yeah, something I was just going to talk about with Ryan was something that I very much love to do with the cast is I wanted this world to feel just as much as their world as it is my world, or Ryan and I's world. And so when it came to their backgrounds and where they came from or what they were wanting to do, I kind of just left it blank for a lot of them. Aaron is probably the biggest example that we've seen. The entirety of the Scarlet Wastes and a couple other little bits of lore, Jormungandr and stuff like that, basically came from his head, and I was like, cool, we're just going to put it here, and then that's the thing. And so along with Ryan and creating a lot of the general big lore, I really enjoy bringing my players in to do a lot of the little lore and geography lore and stuff like that. So I know Aaron wants to talk a little bit more about that, but yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I remember when like you guys were first coming up with the Pantheon, which is way too expansive. Not enough. Yeah. Yeah, we were. I was sitting on the floor of his room back in Nebraska, scrolling through Google Translate English to Latin, and just being like, "How about this?" I think Malice. I think I was there when Malice happened. Yeah, you were there when we created Malice. And I think it was like, "Hey, what about Malice?" And then you were like, "What?" And I was like, "What if he was like a cool guy, but like his name was Real Spook?" And that's how that happened.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, and then I was like, I want to play an orc, and he was like, crap, I don't have anything for that. Yeah. And so I got to just read through like what the lore for orcs has been from different planes and stuff, and then throw it all together, and then make like cool things and make my own lore. I love lore. I'm a lore guy. Yeah. I'm a big lore guy. Big fellows in the chat. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast, and I think for the most part, most of us have added some little small bits, yeah, at least a little bit here and there, and probably more will be added in the future as we continue to play, and DJ realizes, oh crap, I didn't make any lore for any of this. So yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, 100%.
Now, my favorite question: who thought up Ginger, DJ or Hannah?
Well, we kind of both did it together. We were like on Zoom talking about my character, and I didn't expect him to like allow me to have a squirrel. And I was like, oh, like what if like because I basically said, you know, she likes animals more than people, at least at first, and was like, what if she had a like, I know like I can't have this, but like what if she had a little squirrel? And then you were like, you could have a squirrel, and I was like, okay. And then we kind of like did it together. I was like, okay, well, like what kind of squirrel? And then I decided she should have red fur, like me, like red hair. And then I just thought of the name Ginger, and then he was like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. And I was like, cool. So we like did it together. Like,
yeah, that's basically it.
So as a DM, on like a consistent basis, do what your players suggest to you and the things that they bring to you, those ideas, do they inform the creation of the world itself?
To a certain extent, yeah. Obviously, the job of the DM is to create something fun for you guys. And I know for me, I enjoy seeing you guys have fun, which is how I believe most DMs like to do it, or should be doing it, in my opinion. So, yeah, to a certain extent, I'll definitely try and incorporate things as much as I can. They might not always get all the details that they want, but as long as it doesn't, break the game or anything like that, like having a pet squirrel is not a big deal, especially for a ranger. Like that's just how it is. And since it's a squirrel and not a bear or something like that, like it doesn't really affect the gameplay. I'm not looking forward to having to talk as Ginger. That will be interesting, but it's fine.
How are you gonna voice Ginger?
I don't know yet. I'm freaking out a little bit, but we'll decide on that later.
Something very small to
but
say
yeah.
about the previous question, if you don't mind. Okay. So in regards to the characters influencing the world lore, I know from speaking with DJ and knowing that there are some of the things that are maybe on their way, that there are going to be bits of lore that in the world that are never really touched on, because these two have been working on this world, as you know, for a very long time, and even a whole nother continent that they were planning on having 2 separate campaigns, etc. You just heard that, and so there's also moments where characters will perhaps want something to happen or something will fit, and DJ will be able to pull from their massive just portfolio of lore and just be, oh, this fits, and then he can throw that in too. So that's another small way where the characters can influence the lore that's being involved in the story.
Yeah, like we said beforehand, like this is a stage for you guys to get to perform. So if there's something that you need in the world, then it's gonna be there, and it's nice because we have a really, really big world, so there's a lot of space where we can kind of fit wherever we need, and kind of put it wherever we want. And you guys have already seen some of the other bits of lore, like when you guys were in the Feywild, you weren't on Telira, because the Feywild is just a mirror realm, and so you guys were actually on a different continent, technically, throughout that. So you guys have already seen some of the semi-landscape of some other continents and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. Anyway.
Another question. This one's from Son of Joxer.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. Why do you and Ryan both
Okay,
mispronounce
never
the
mind.
word
I hate it. We
foliage?
can say it. We can say it. It's foliage. Watch it. I don't even say it. Foliage.
Foliage?
Foliage.
You heard him. Foliage.
Good job.
What was that?
Really well.
DJ's having some issues.
No, that's how you say it. You're all wrong.
He's the DM. He makes the rules.
Foliage, yeah.
Fatigue.
Okay, I have another question. This is for Drew, and perhaps DJ.
Ooh, spicy.
Will the audience ever get to officially see Cather's Book of Parables?
That is a great question. I did bring it. Here. Give me a couple of seconds.
So actually, this is a great segue to shout out Nathaniel again. Basically, that Book of Parables was completely him. I had the idea, and I was like, "Yo, I want this to kind of be a thing that he's gonna get." But I basically came up with it the day before I was gonna give it to him. So I kind of tasked Nathaniel with. I gave him the general concepts for the parables and what the lessons were. And since Nathaniel has experience in writing parables and was a ministry major and stuff like that, he knows how to do it properly and stuff like that. So I tasked him to write it and then actually write them down because he has a way better handwriting than me. And then I actually bound the book and got all the pages and everything like that. So it was a good collab between the two of us that I think turned out really well.
It was pretty fun. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but Drew can check it out now.
I'll hold it.
Oh, thank you, Grant. Okay, so DJ decided that he just is good at everything.
It's true.
As he does, and made by hand all these pages and this this actual legit leather bound. It smells a lot.
And is there a point that the Dungeoneers might get a chance to know what's inside?
Maybe we'll do an maybe we'll do a few Instagram pictures of it after Cather reveals a little bit more about it.
When it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so excited because Drew said I get to see it since Renaya saw it, so I get to look at it. I'm so excited. Anyway, okay.
But yeah, so yeah, did you have something else you want to talk about, Drew?
DJ hit on it just fine. It's just eventually, perhaps, when more things are revealed and Cather feels like he can talk to the whole group, perhaps, about what he believes, and not just Melora or Anaya, and feel like he's getting judged for it.
In Hannah's,
That was a subtle at Tarak.
In Hannah's words, I did not come all this way to be roasted like this. All right, it's not my fault that Cather's an idiot. I'm okay.
Don't you just feel so seen?
No, I feel misunderstood, mistranslated, judged, but never seen.
We don't care.
We care about you though. We care about you.
Hey, don't lie. This is an honest stream, okay?
All right, Lydia. Did Renaya receive any formal religious training to obtain her cleric powers, or is she like a self-taught outlier? Son of Joxer.
She does have somebody who taught her about malice.
Nice. Nice. And has Renaya always been a follower of Malice? Or is he like a new development in her spiritual pantheon? And if the latter, who else does she pray to?
Malice is new.
You heard it first on the Paper Dungeon.
When you can't go any farther than that.
This is exactly what happens when we ask Renai anything. So it turns out that it's not Renai, it's just Lydia.
No, but I was so freaking sad because I knew all the questions for Renai were gonna be like, yeah, and that's all. Like I couldn't say anything, but
The rest are spoilers.
The rest is spoilers.
but when you find out, it's gonna be epic. Unless it's not, and then I just hyped it up, and
No,
it's gonna be epic.
it's gonna be epic.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Nice. All right, Tarak.
Ah.
I got one for Tarak. So Aaron,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is again from Son of Joxer.
Uh-huh.
All right. Did Tarak scheme to spread blood samples randomly across the city actually to have an impact on the hag's tracking abilities, or was it a complete waste of time?
Everything that I do is calculated, purposeful, intentional, and effective. I am a precision machine of complete success, and I have never failed. It didn't matter.
What an answer.
I can neither confirm nor deny what he has said today.
So it might have mattered. Probably not, though. Yeah?
DJ,
Yes, my son.
is Kiyomura a multi-class monk / paladin?
No, he's just paladin that I hyped up really cool. That's about it.
Nice. All right. Did Melancina sabotage the Bloodstone portal runes in order to prevent the Archfey from following her into the Feywild?
No, actually, that was Malice. When they were in the when Cather and Melora were in the sewers and they saw that Fey that they saw in the Feywild fighting Malice. Malice is one of the gods of the Arcane Domain. Or the Arcana Domain, and so he, on the fly in the middle of the fight, was changing some of the runes to shove the Fae back through and then lock her from being able to come back. And so that giant blood smear was her basically being dragged across as he's teleporting her through it. So
it's your fault we almost drowned.
I'm sorry.
I would like to sincerely apologize for the things that have happened here.
Nice. All right. So again, will we be ever able to see the contents of Cather's Book of Parables?
Eventually, maybe. Sure.
Good answer. Simple.
We had all variety of semi-positive answers, and yet no real cohesive answer.
Okay, well, here. If someday it is like the relationship with the party and Cather is decent, I would love to. Drew would love nothing more. That thing is awesome. The fact that DJ texted me like a couple hours before the stream, a couple months ago now. He's just like, "Hey, I mailed you a thing. Don't open it." I was like, "Okay." And sure enough, it's just like, eventually when the time comes, I open it up and I look at it. I was like, "What the heck is this thing?"
It's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
I'm taking over the questions. Drew, when Cather dies, can we look at it?
Oh no.
What's this when?
Don't ask questions if you don't know the answer.
Oof.
Track. I'm gonna take a page from your book. I can't stop you.
All right.
Oh no. How ominous.
Oh, it's real acceptable.
Oh no! Don't hand the mic away, Drew. I have a question.
Ooh, you're on the hot seat, buddy.
What exactly were those blue mushrooms that Cather sacrificed in his intro episode?
They were the pain and sadness. So DJ was gracious enough to reveal my mistake to me. So those of you who don't know what is being talked about, back in Cather's solo shot, he was in a forest, and he found these tiny little celestial mushrooms. And apparently, and see, to clarify, I don't have them anymore. So, because I attempted to open up a magical doorway and they all burned up. And so DJ was gracious enough to tell me that was the wrong move, because those mushrooms basically heal like 3d8 of hit points.
Let's hope we find more of those.
So yeah.
So you blew it.
Yes, I did. I had 3 of them, and they're all gone.
That would have been nice.
But it's fine, because then he gave us Rua, and now we can still heal.
That's a big oof.
Yeah, yes, it is.
All right. What's everyone's favorite moment in the campaign so far?
No, you can't.
Wow.
You're right. I can't. The fans can.
Yeah, I can go first.
Oh, or Lady is excited.
Dude, when I freaking did it after not doing anything.
Poetic justice.
But no, I felt so happy that all worked out so well. And well, not everything worked out as well as we wanted, but I got to be really powerful, and that was really good for Renaya, and that made me feel really good.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Haval. And the reason I preface that is because it was the gnome skeleton.
Oh yeah.
So you played Havel.
It was the gnome skeleton, and it will forever be the gnome skeleton.
Just because I can't think of anything else and it's fresh in my mind, probably the awkward conversation between Melora and Kiyomura. That when Cather walked in, Kiyomura just decided to button up his shirt. Like, that just looks really bad, and it's stuck in my mind, and it's been haunting me. So thank you for that.
Really quick, before it gets too far. That or the toe.
The toe's a throwback. Yeah.
Hashtag the toe.
Hashtag the toe. My moment was kind of similar to Hannah's. I really enjoyed that whole conversation between the awkward cluster of conversation that is Cather, Melora, and Kiyomura. They are not a thing yet, so be on the lookout for that if you want more answers. But yeah, I just thought it was so funny. I was trying to make it as awkward as possible.
Okay, wait.
boy.
Clarify. We're getting some tea. Who isn't a thing yet? Are you talking about Melora and Cather, or Kiyomura trying to get Cather?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
It is a
No, but my whole goal was just to make it like as awkward as possible for the two of you guys, and try and
why
just
would you do this to me, your brother?
because I love you and want to torture you.
To watch people cry.
It's true.
Sometimes
But
it
yeah,
feels good watching.
that would
people
probably be
cry.
my favorite moment as well.
Oh, is it? So, as those in the chat may know, I am the captain of the ships. There's a lot of good moments that I absolutely love. But my favorite moment doesn't involve me, but it does involve a very specific ship. There was some tumbling stones.
Oh wow.
Some dancing fairies, a lot of sweat. And specifically the trip into the catch.
Okay.
That was straight up. You two were not the only ones sweating.
No,
This
is Kiyomura and Cather.
Yeah, it's the scene in the Feywild where they straight up. Can I get some fan art?
I was still wearing my shirt.
Yeah, that's your fault.
If anyone wants to like draw Kiyomura's tattoos, I would literally like, I don't know, I'd love you forever. I would cry. Yeah.
Just we need someone who's really good at drawing shirtless men. For no reason.
That's a whole community right there.
So honestly, this is the one. That's great, Ryan. This is the one that popped in my head. There have been a couple very specific scenes. We all love Tarak, right? And we all know that Tarak has a few different sides to him. There's feral Tarak. Given AO for feral Tarak in the chat. AO. That was great. But my favorite version of Tarak is when he gets really excited about something, especially like an event or a story, and he gets super animated and his voice gets higher and he starts doing things with his arms and he's getting all loud and like he almost forgets the world around him and he just gets completely enticed with this like thought or this experience. And so my favorite one is when Edward tried to thrust one of the shadow dogs with his sword, like pew. Exactly. And I think we're literally in the sewer tunnels. We're supposed to be silent. Like we're sneaking through these tunnels and there's probably somebody at the end. And there are scouts going ahead, but we're hanging back and we have to be really quiet. And Edward was like, I don't know what to do. And Tarak's like, are you kidding? You went crazy and you thrust out the dog. And he's like being crazy loud in this tunnel. And everyone's like, quiet down. But I think that might be my favorite moment. Was Tarak hyping up Edward in the stealthy tunnel.
Ryan, are you having fun yet? With being cord guy, being cord guy.
It's a grand time. I'm just happy to be needed.
Oh man, the problem is I have too many moments I really love for different reasons.
Pick one that you love for Catherine.
If you don't include Melora, it doesn't count.
Like I said, pick one that you love for Catherine.
Can I
And
pick?
it's
Can I have
only
permission to pick
Aussie.
2?
You can pick if the other one includes Kiamora.
And the one
Don't
that,
listen to
and
him.
the
He's
one
diabolical.
and the one that doesn't include Kiamura better be the spa scene.
Oh my gosh, the spa
Oh my god,
scene.
the spa.
Spa scene. I forgot about the spa.
Okay.
Okay, that was really
First time
So so here I'm gonna. Oh my goodness. Actually, she didn't see me shirtless, but no, she didn't.
You saw her with her hair down though.
It's true.
No, because I was already in the tub, and then when I got out, I already had my clothes on.
It's like a video game. You pop out, they just. Run out.
So again, I've yet to be shirtless in front of anyone. Regardless,
It'll happen.
okay. So as a broad thing, the Melora Cather ship is an interesting ride. And the fact that Aaron is our captain just terrifies me.
Saying that the Melora Cather ship is interesting is the understatement of this year. It's complicated, my guy. When are you going to simplify it and make it a thing?
Whoa. He hasn't said his favorite moment yet.
Oh, shoot, you're
Now,
right.
this is tea that could last for hours, right? So let's just handle this small thing. What's your favorite moment? And then we'll talk about like the important stuff, the things the Dungeoneers are here. So just say your favorite moment as fast as you could so we can get to this, okay? I'm sweating. I want to know.
I'd say Smite Night.
Hashtag
That was
The one
see
with the giant?
yes.
Yes.
That's the only Smite Night.
Yeah.
Just because that was the first time I did something. Well, I don't want to say.
something.
Yeah. I mean, more or less.
To be a paladin.
I'm pretty sure the last time I hit something was all the way back with the Shadow Dogs,
Yeah.
and that was like 10 sessions ago.
Could you explain again what exactly happened for the Smite Night moment? For those that might not have seen it.
Okay, so those who somehow missed it. Yes, Ryan.
No, I was gonna say you could just go watch it. I think we have it clipped.
Probably.
I think Joxer did. Hashtag Joxer, you're great.
On YouTube.
You can see Drew's reaction to it in the paper cuts on that episode, and it's pretty great.
On the Instagram.
But yeah, that I'd say is probably the coolest moment that doesn't have a whole lot of emotional trauma behind it.
And what happened again? We still
So
Grant doesn't remember.
No, I remember.
so Grant, for your information, we were in the Feywild, remember? You remember that?
Oh.
Okay. And we came to the forest,
Mhm.
and there was a two-headed giant,
Okay.
and then Edward turned and ran.
No.
Meanwhile, Cather was actually doing something and killed it.
I'm so proud of him.
Yes. So yeah.
It was cool. He slashed the leg. He slashed the other leg. He slashed the head. That's what happened. Right? That's what happened. It was cool.
Yes.
Edward wasn't there, so he's getting all the juicy deets now.
He did run away. Really quick, while we're on the topic of the Etten, have you ever pulled a punch on us? Like a serious, like you rolled something and you're like, yeah, about that.
I will neither confirm nor deny any of that.
Okay, that's fair. That's
remember,
a probably.
kids. Remember, kids. The Fifth Amendment protects against self-incrimination. So back to Cather.
Get back.
That's true.
I thought I didn't get to have my second answer. I thought it was just a one.
So when are you gonna simplify it and make it a thing between you and Melora?
Whoa, dude.
I would like to answer.
Okay. So Aaron, shush. This is my character and Hannah's character, not yours. I mean, see, the thing is, Drew has to debate how he wants to do it, and then Cather gets to debate.
Well, okay. First of all, here, can I see this? First of all, this is not just a you thing. This is a two-way street. Relationships go both ways.
That's
okay?
true,
So,
and I was getting there. So,
Thank you.
given the particular ending of episode 11, that and what happened there, that will be interesting.
well,
Again, that word.
The word interesting is not.
See.
That
Here's
doesn't
the
have
thing.
a positive
It's the-
connotation to me.
It's well. See, here's well.
Try again.
Okay.
the real question is, does Melora even want it? Or are you just gonna get shut down?
See here. Well, see, that's the thing. Is Cather's more concerned about what Melora wants, and so he doesn't care if he
Doesn't.
don't
I'm sorry?
talk to me like that, Lydia.
He doesn't care. I'm sorry. He doesn't care about what?
Cather doesn't care about his own personal feelings. He cares about Melora's.
Okay. All right. That was a safe sentence. For a second, I was.
I'm not.
concerned.
Cather is not a terrible
For
human
a
being.
second, I was very concerned.
He's actually not even human. He's an elf, but.
Okay, yeah. So the whole Cather Melora thing, I've got it planned. The whole thing. Let me tell you, rose petals, none.
Of course, he has it planned.
Of course I do. I am the captain of the ship, and I am also diabolical. Well, okay. Let me tell you, I've been setting things up. I'm here for you, chat. Tarak has been pushing Melora. You saw it. You saw it here. He's been ruining Cather's life. That's all just a ploy. It's all a ploy for the ship. All right? All for the ship. I'm here for you, my fellow Americans, or otherwise. Or otherwise, wherever you're from.
Shout out to our non-American viewers.
Yes. Those sailors aboard the ship, I'm here. And I'm working for you. Thank you for asking that.
You are quite welcome. And now for Melora.
Well, I was going to say that of the ending of last episode, my answer may be different now because that was not necessarily expected and may speed up a few things. But I think it depends on Cather's reaction the following day.
Okay, wait.
No,
So,
don't answer it.
Hannah, for my sake.
Where's the ginger?
For my sake. Wait, what?
I'm Melora. He's Catherine.
Hey.
That's good. So just for my sake. Just real quick, for my sake, Hannah. Are you trying? So you're basically saying you didn't expect all that to happen, and therefore, because that single event. Okay.
Ooh.
Held Melora.
All right.
How is this? This is a big deal, right?
Let's be
I'm
clear.
trying to clarify. I'm asking for
Let's
the
be
sake
clear here.
of things that I might have said out of game versus things I've said in game. That's
Let's-
what I'm curious.
Okay.
Nothing you've said out of game. This is all in-game stuff, right?
Let's be clear here. I think that Catherine and Melora are both unsure how to deal with their own feelings a lot of the time, and also might not necessarily be as in touch with themselves. So what may have been like denied may no longer be able to be denied. Is what I'm saying.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Real quick, I fully agree with Hannah.
Thank you. All right. Well, there we go. Yes.
This is serious, so I'm not going to say it.
Oh, please.
Cather
We're talking about the ship right now.
and Melora are both learning how to have meaningful, lasting, loving relationships with the people around them. So forgive them if it takes some time to understand themselves and one another.
No, not happening.
Right? Cather? Exactly. I rest my case.
We shouldn't have to suffer just because Drew's a robot. Okay, I'm gonna say it. All right, you need to download some love into your processors. You need to ban the word friend, buddy, pal, good friend, any of that from your dictionary when referring to Melora or Kiamora. It needs to be gone. No, you can't. Nah. We're just, me and Melora, we're just really good pals. No, stop. I will end you out of the game and in. Stop. Next question.
I like being in between you two. This is great.
The next
Do you have
question.
anything you want to say?
Next question.
Next question?
Next
Okay,
question's
next
for
question.
Hannah. How does Melora feel about Kiyomura?
Well, that's. Oh. Well, so she wasn't sure at first because they didn't really talk, and the first time he tried to talk to her, he was just asking where Cather was. So, didn't seem like he was very interested in talking to her. Clearly, he is good at what he does and was a helpful addition to the group. And after their last conversation, I think she feels a little bit closer to him. And instead of feeling like neutral, she's like, hey, pretty cool dude.
So she sees him as a threat.
I mean, I will neither confirm nor deny.
If Melora doesn't want him, Haval will have him.
I want
That's
to
the
see
next
this
great
happen,
ship.
by the way. Something about...
Ryan's here for it.
Question.
I'm sorry. I just want to interject real quick. One last time. Is Hannah? Are you ever as embarrassed as Drew is when these conversations come up?
Yes. Yes. I am more embarrassed by just DJ really likes to just make it worse. And it's just so, like, literally, he could have buttoned up his shirt at any time. He had it on, but he chose when Cather came. Also, for the record, he didn't have a shirt on when he said he was going to see Cather. Melora came to his room, he was exiting, and said he was on his way to see Cather, and then he put a shirt on afterwards.
Maybe that's why Cather uses the word friend.
I'm just saying, I don't want to read into things too much, but it's pretty sus, is what I'm saying.
Listen, man. Here's the thing. Guys go up to each other shirtless all the time. Like, it's just how it is. You know, I can't speak for the women in the group, but I know that I have seen all of these guys shirtless many times. Nathaniel basically doesn't wear a shirt when he's home.
Bro.
on Zoom, when we're on calls on Zoom, like apart from the stream or before and after, we've seen Nathaniel wear a shirt one time, and he's been in so many Zooms. So this is true.
All right, for the chat. There has been a lot of times when I've like come in at the end of the streams after they're all done and stuff like that. And
there's nothing wrong with being shirtless in your own home.
DJ is correct.
There's
DJ
nothing
is
wrong
correct.
with it.
If I have the choice to wear a shirt, listen. I say a lot of things that I don't mean, but I mean this with my heart. If you're at home right now and you're alone,
Be careful.
I know. No.
Oh,
Wait,
we're
wait.
fine.
I'm gonna be real with you. If I am at my own house, yeah, I choose to be shirtless. And until they got here, at least 3 of them had never seen me wear a shirt in life.
It is totally fine to be shirtless in your own home. And Kiyomura was totally comfortable with Cather.
DJ brought this to the table. I
Okay,
felt the
but
need
he
to
was
defend
saying,
myself.
yeah, it's fine. Okay, next question. Anyway, moving on. Next question. Moving on.
All right. Next question is for Renee.
Renaya?
Oh, no. Hello.
How many words
Okay.
did she get there?
Lydia,
That's me.
how does Renaya feel about the whole Cather Melora situation?
Why do we keep coming back to this?
This is the only thing that
Uh-oh.
people watch our stream for.
Okay, honest tea.
Oh no.
Do we need more than 10 minutes to unpack that?
I can make it very quick. So Renaya's gotten very close to Melora in a few very big conversations. You're distracting me. And basically, Renaya can see a lot of herself in Melora. And in seeing herself in Melora from past experiences, she does not know if this is the right thing right now. Now, will Renaya say anything about that? I don't know, but, did I just expose myself?
No, this
is good.
This is good.
Okay, should I go into more detail, or should I? You want more detail? Okay, some more details. Melora has not experienced a lot of social interaction. She has not experienced a lot of people. Melora is also experiencing a lot of new emotions and a lot of new feelings. And with these new feelings, it can be very hard to cope. And it is very good to lean on people, but is not good to invest in people so much that you need them to help fix you, if that makes sense. It is good to have support, but you need to be able to learn to stand on your own before you can walk with somebody else.
Bars.
Let's get that on a t-shirt, folks.
Why do I feel like this is more advice for
And Cather,
What does that mean?
Cather,
She's got the hands up.
Cather, we have seen his dedication to his faith. And we have seen his drive and his motivation and his reactions to certain things that have happened and his non-reactions to things that have happened. And so I think Renaya thinks Cather's focus may not be in the right place for where Melora needs it to be.
I have a question.
But it's not Cather's
Is it for me?
Yes. So, is that so? Previously, like I remember, there was the whole breakfast scene where you were giving him the eye. Is that the reason why Renaya isn't a big fan of Cather? Or is there another?
No, Renaya loves Cather. But no, well,
Not like that, folks.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so no, as far as like Cather as an individual, Renaya greatly admires him, and is almost like at this point now, after some conversations that they've had, well, the few conversations they've had, is almost kind of looking up to him right now. But that's just her perspective on them together, not them as individuals. As them as individuals, Renaya adores them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How does Renaya feel about Melora and Kimura?
Okay, I haven't actually gotten to talk to Kiyomura, so I have no opinion on this.
For points. All right, and final question before we take a break real quick. How can viewers support you?
Here.
What have you done?
So give us a follow on Twitch. That's obviously very, very helpful. You can go check us out on our other social media channels as well. Lydia does a great job with our Instagram, and we have Twitter as well, and all that good stuff.
At the Paper Dungeon.
Yes, and if you guys can't watch the stream live or anything like that, you can go over to YouTube and watch it, or you can listen to our podcast version on any place that you find our podcast, any of our on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And then obviously we just launched a merch store, so if you want to help us out financially, you could always do that. That's really great. Hopefully we'll be able to get our subscribe button up soon if you guys are ever interested in that.
Shout out to the IRS for failing me at every turn.
Easy there.
We're working on it. We're working on it. So
We will accept a sponsorship from the IRS if
Yes.
you are watching.
I'll take back anything I said.
but yeah, that's how you can support us. And we love you guys and appreciate all the support that you can give us. So, Grant's good.
We do have a Patreon. It's the Paper Dungeon on Patreon. Now, the Patreon will be more and more active as we develop. But that's another good way to do it. Another way to interact with us and the community and whatnot. So if you
We've got some funny videos on it.
Yeah, we do. They're pretty funny.
Some good videos, some behind the scenes. We'll be posting stuff from this trip, probably.
Yep. And our merchandise store is up this week, today actually, so you can go look at that.
Like right now. You can visit in the break.
And if you guys have any suggestions as to what you would like to see on our Patreon or any exclusive content that you would like to talk as well as the merch, yes, please do just message us, right? Like, let us know. Hit us up on socials, right? We post all the time.
Yeah.
We try to post all the time. Yeah.
One more thing. Also, now that we're going on break, just a reminder, if you want to send us more questions, we'll be looking at the chat for the rest of the stream, except for the few little questions that we have left. But for the most of the rest of the stream, we'll be looking at the chat during the break for those questions. So hit us up.
Toss us some good ones, folks.
Yeah. Cool. I think we're going to go on break then. Thank you guys so much for watching so far, and we'll be back in like 10 or 15 minutes. Awesome. Thank you guys.
There was a really weird audio lag they sent, and now it's better.
Gotcha.
How old is everyone on the cast?
I am 21.
I am 20.
20.
19.
19.
20.
I'm 21, but I'm older than DJ by a day.
It's true. Aaron's birthday is June 2nd, and mine is June 3rd, and we're only like 7 hours apart or something like that. So, yeah. Anyway.
And
you, Nathaniel?
I am 24 years old. I know. It was me and God at the beginning of time. All right. DJ,
Yes.
are you going to do more with trading, say with like Havel's coins and items and things like that?
That is up to Havel if he's willing to give up those coins. But yeah, there's like, you guys are always welcome to barter and try and like negotiate prices on stuff.
What are those coins? It's kind of hard to barter for something I don't know what I
You don't need to know that. That's fine. But like with regular monetary value things, you're more than welcome to say no. 500 gold pieces for one little artifact is not good enough, and I'll tell you no, you're wrong. But yes, you're more than welcome to try.
You don't want Aaron.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to know what you need to do to get those coins. That is where I will leave it.
When Havel dies, can I have his coins? You've got a week.
I thought you said they were being split.
They're being split up. They're being split up. One of them goes to Melora. Just because I feel like she'd make the most use out of it. And the other one, you guys can battle royale for.
Lydia's look of betrayal.
I thought you said I got your jewelry. Yeah, you get the jewelry.
You know,
No, it's fine.
okay. I mean, that is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have.
It's fine.
I have
fine.
enough.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna die anytime soon, and plus,
Got a week.
I have means. I have things that I might do. I've been debating. I might talk to the DM some more. We'll see. It's good stuff.
That was dangerous territory.
That was exceedingly dangerous territory. All right.
There's no mafia. There is no mafia in Boston Say.
Who plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon?
I think his name is like Durant or something like that. He's kind of a doofus. We don't like him very much.
My name's Aaron. I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
No, I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
We play Edward on the
We
Paper
play
Dungeon.
Edward on the Paper
What
Dungeon.
is happening?
Paper Dungeon.
No, you play Edward on the Paper Dungeon, and then I do on every other Monday, and then he comes in on the third one.
Oh.
Who
It's like a divorced parent
We
situation.
who is Edward and what is the Paper Dungeon?
We're co-parents.
I think we all know what our Dungeoneers want to hear. Hi. My name's Grant. I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon. Thank you for watching and joining us today. I'm about to hand it over to our wonderful DM, DJ McKellips,
Who also plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
who does not play Edward on the Paper Dungeon. I am Grant, and I do that.
I play Edward when Edward is gone.
For reference, I'm Nathaniel, and I play Edward. All right. Really interesting question.
Okay.
The first character you ever made in D&D and your current Paper Dungeon character meet. How do they interact?
Melora would just hate her. Her name was Sonia Starsong, and she was the elf bard I was talking about, and she was really bubbly and very flirtatious and just a lot, and I feel like Melora wouldn't know how to deal with that excess energy, but I feel like Sonia would see it as a challenge and like bother Melora until she likes her.
Well, my first ever character probably wouldn't really respond, or wouldn't really say anything at start, but it would probably go something like this. He would be pickpocketing Havel, and then Havel would just turn to him and go, What are you doing? Why are you here? Who are you? And do you need work? and then the rest is history, you know? Just
My very first character would drag Renaya. Renaya would be destroyed. Renaya would not be able to stand any longer.
Oh.
I have other
By
questions.
the way, my first character's name was Eggnog.
Oh, eggnog?
Yes, it is.
I love that.
So oddly enough, my first character was also a wood elf ranger.
Wait, you're a ranger?
No. My first character.
Wait, you're Edward on the
Guys, my name's Edward. So I think he and Catherine would get along great, actually.
My first character was named Rashawn LaFonda Marquis. That was his name, and he was
Was named what?
Yeah, and he was a barbarian, and he was an Osmer. Whatever it is, and he
was asthma.
asthma. People called him Sean, and he was a big barbarian, and he could hit things real hard. But he was also a really big softie.
I thought Thublong was your first character.
Thublong was not my first character. We don't have to talk about. That's different.
Thublong gets the Jared treatment.
Let's not go there. That's for Wednesday. But yeah, no. I feel like Edward would probably be intimidated by him at first, but then he'd probably realize that he's not like actually a big bouldering barbarian, and maybe they'd like bond over like a flower or some tea or something.
I can't confirm.
I was much edgier when I made my first character. He just had a really big sword and was real dumb. So honestly, I don't even know if they ever could meet because he's definitely dead. Like anywhere he goes, good old Torin. Oh. Torin fought a giant worm by himself at like level 3 because he was just real dumb. He was a warlock. You shouldn't be fighting giant worms by yourself as a warlock. It's a good hint. Don't do it. He would die to Tarak, and Tarak doesn't even fight.
His aura, in fact, would kill him.
Yeah, just existing.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be bad time. Yeah.
I don't have a current character, so.
Oh, Kiyomura, son. You're not getting out of this.
You play a hot boy.
Absinthe Bram was the name of my first character. I didn't know that was alcohol when I first named him, but it's fine. It did kind of fit him though. Like somehow it was both like.
You told me you were like, yeah, his name's Absinthe Bram, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Very intense is a good way of describing him. Absinthe was that necromancer that I was talking about, who didn't really see it as a bad thing comparatively to what a lot of people look at necromancy as. But he and Kiyomura is too respectful to probably get offended, but he probably would eventually like get to the point that he'd be like, hey man, you gotta stop this. And then Absinthe would be like, no, screw you. And then they'd fight and Kiyomura would die because Absinthe would just finger of death him, and it'd be great. Good old Absinthe.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
No.
But yeah, that's probably how that would go. So
Nice. Another question. How developed, as the DM, insider knowledge,
hit me.
how developed is the pantheon of gods in your world, and like how prevalent is it in Athala?
So when Ryan and I were creating the pantheon, I kind of looked at him and I was like, what if we had like 3 gods per domain, just to kind of like, like let's have a big pantheon. And at first he was like, no, that's stupid. And then I just kind of convinced him. He just kind of went along with it. And now that Tasha's got released, we just had to add a few more gods who are actually really pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about them. But we have 23 gods total. There's the 13 prime gods, which is the main deity of each domain. And then there's a couple other gods that are of multiple domains. Even some of the prime gods are of multiple domains technically. those gods primarily are served by just about everyone, aside from a few specific cultures. Orcs don't worship those gods. There's a few sub-races of elves that more worship a few other types of gods. A lot of fey creatures don't even acknowledge that the gods are powerful, and they more look towards the Archfey. And so, yeah, it's pretty well developed. I have a whole cheat sheet that I had to print off because there's so many of them. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty well developed. It took a long time, but yeah.
Oh, I have a question for you, real quick. Will the pantheon and the information of the gods and the fae and whatnot, will that ever be available to Dungeoneers to actually be able to see?
You mean like just like a general, like a? I mean, yeah, we could probably do that. We could. Yeah, we could do a blog post. If you check out the paperdungeon.com, we have it's called the Dungeoneers pack, right?
Yeah, it's look.
Aaron writes a blog every once in a while on our website.
I'm in college. I'm real busy. Got business to run. Got Dungeons and Dragons to play. Got a degree to get. Blogs are hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They are interesting. They happen sometimes.
Yeah, so we could write a blog post about that, or I could write a blog post about that, and then also, you know, we've kind of dropped a little hints at possibly writing a book or something like that, so we could put it in there too. So,
if you guys want, I mean, like, as I keep throwing out like Patreon content and stuff like that, or like, and this doesn't even necessarily have to be Patreon content. If you guys want, I would love to talk more specifically. I would love to talk about the Fae Pantheon, since I was very prevalent on that, while DJ very much was just having a heyday, like a field day. Like it was Christmas came early with the divine Pantheon. But like I personally like I like the Fae. I think they're very interesting, and I like the way that we kind of went with the Fae in this world. So, I'm not spoiling anything. I just think that we the way we carried like our the way we solve some problems in this pantheon, I feel are very different and very interesting. And I mean, with no spoilers, I definitely would love to talk more about it, and I'm sure DJ would too as well. So, any opportunity, any ideas on that, please do let us know. But
I'll do a little 1 minute
yeah.
clip where we just run through every single god.
like it's like the Pokemon rap at the start, you know, but like with gods.
Like the state song.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Preston asks, "Hey Grant, you gonna take me to dinner?"
Oh, take you to dinner.
That's a great
Okay,
question,
hold on.
Grant.
Hold on. I have a thing. If I take one Dungeoneer to dinner, then I have to take all Dungeoneers to dinner.
You can start by taking me to dinner.
Should I get that? I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I have an idea.
Hear him out on this. Hear him out on this, folks.
I have an idea.
Behind the scenes right here.
I have an idea. Let us know if you want this. I have an idea called Snack of the Week, because when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, what's better to go with the game than some snacks, right? And so in my mind, like, we could announce like every week or so, like, next week's Snack of the Week is pretzels. And then like everybody just comes to the stream with pretzels and everybody enjoys the same stuff. I think it's a great idea. We might start doing that, but that could be the replacement for dinner with all of you. But I am flattered. I'm flattered that they'd consider having dinner with me.
And the ship sunk before it sailed.
I love you, though. I love you, Preston. Thank you.
As technical creative director of the Paper Dungeon, I personally have been vetoing this every time he brings it up. But
Let us know in the chat what
Sure,
you
guys, make a case for it. Why not? You know, we've done weirder things. So
Patreon, you may be able to influence this more in the future.
honestly, right?
Might be able to
But if you
ideas.
can't follow us on Patreon, please do enjoy the content. We appreciate your support.
Snack of the week.
Okay.
Definitely let them know in chat whether or not you want a snack of the week.
Snack of the week.
Here, let me do it one more time, just to give him a taste. Snack of the week. That'll happen every week, I hope. Sorry. Okay, keep going. I'm having too much fun over here.
You need help. All right. How tall are all of your characters?
I know the answer.
In centimeters.
What do you think we are? European.
Kiyomura is 5'10".
Melora is 6 foot.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, Havel's like 6'1", 6'2", give or take. Yeah.
I know Renai is close to 6 foot, but she's not there yet.
I mean, we are elves. Right. Cather is 6'2".
When I first started making Edward, I pictured him as taller, but honestly, I think the canon height of Edward is... Pass it off to you, because I have to think real quick.
Tarak is 6'8" and 3/4. Well, on a good day.
Oh, I thought he was like 7'6".
Okay, no. He's considered large.
Yes.
If he really puts his effort into it, he can almost hit 7 foot.
The
He has
guys in the
bad-
chat.
Kiyomura basically hits 7 feet with his horns.
Oh, those don't count. That's like saying if I had a pompadour.
I mean, yeah. No, you're right. That's why I heard it, but...
At that rate,
Havel's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like...
I have discovered the canon height of Edward. It is 5'9", the shortest member of the party.
Why does that make sense?
It does, right?
He's got small boy vibes.
All right. If your character had a different class, what do you think they'd be?
Monk.
Who asked that? Was that you?
No, that was not me.
Who was it?
Druid.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
That question, we appreciate
is it... Okay, if Havel's keeping his personality? Or like...
Yeah, just Havel just
We all know it's a warlock.
No. Here, I'm going to think on that a little bit, because that's a pretty loaded question. No.
That question is really hard for Havel to answer.
Yeah.
I think Warlock.
Patron of malice.
That makes sense for Lydia and for Renai.
Probably a Grave Domain Cleric.
I think he might be a baby wizard. If he was another one.
wizard?
Like a wizard of babies?
A 5'9" wizard.
Good dodge. Okay, so hear me out. Now you may be thinking, oh, probably like, I don't know, like a peace domain. Wrong. Spirit Guardian Barbarian.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There's so much lore that goes with that. Oh my god. Oh no.
It's a toss up on how I'd want to play the character, but it somewhere between a cleric is a good choice, either knowledge or trickery, or a school of the scribe wizard, like from Tasha's.
Can I amend my answer?
Um,
Druid barbarian.
Druid Barian, huh?
Just saying.
broken.
Yes.
Thank you, above 22. That was an excellent question.
Ah, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Aaron.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Magic the Gathering deck color?
Well, let me tell you, I'm a scumbag.
So it's
And
blue.
This is to you, Wizards of the Coast. Bring back Mill. All right?
Oh!
Bring back Blue-Black Mill. I will be there. I will support it all the way. I will captain this ship too. Aaron and Blue-Black Mill. Rest in peace, Ravnica. My heart goes out to you.
I love Aaron so much.
If you guys had to pick a singular song to represent your character, what would it be? Get hurt.
Okay, wait. Come back to me. Come back to me real quick. I have to think about it.
So if we're just talking like general like vibe and stuff and don't really care about lyrics, I don't remember the exact name of it, but if you guys have ever watched King Arthur, Tale of the Sword and Stone or whatever, the like the Legend of Sword. That's that one. The scene where it's like him growing up, and it's got like the like heavy like rhythmic breathing and stuff like that for Havel. Otherwise, if we're going like lyrical, glitter and gold by what's I can't remember the artist's name because I'm terrible at remembering.
Very good choice,
So
sir.
like glitter and gold, like that song. So
I think for Renaya it would be Heartlines by Florence and the Machine.
Good choice.
So there's a reason that I have a playlist for Cather that consists of like 13 songs. So to pick one, oh dear.
Do you want to skip?
See,
I have my favorite one for Cather.
you okay? Let me think about it a little bit. We can hear what the others think.
Yeah, for Edward, as of now, current Edward. Excuse me, children. I'm trying to talk about my favorite song.
You're disrupting his education.
No, that was a joke. I love you guys. That was a little taste of Edward.
Grant. I thought Edward and Grant were two people.
Yeah, they're different. I love you guys both.
Hannah and Ryan,
so-
do you feel seen?
Do you feel seen?
please don't.
I'm just over here existing.
I don't want.
Okay, all right, back on track. My my favorite. No,
Wait, back to who?
me, Grant, who plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon. The song that currently represents Edward is "Right Before My Eyes," Unpeeled, by Cage the Elephant. Look it up.
Very good choice.
I'm split for Tarak between Redemption Song by Bob Marley and Welcome to the Cruel World by Ben Harper. Both great songs. DJ?
I don't have a song, but one of the things I asked all the people to do is make playlists for their characters, and some of them have been more successful than others at Grant. But Drew did a really great job. Drew has a really diverse set of songs for him. But by far my favorite for Cather would be "The Last Goodbye" by Billy Boyd from the Hobbit soundtrack. Love that song, and it makes me cry every single time when I think about Cather and how it relates and everything like that. So yeah.
No. Wait your turn.
Hannah, do you want to go? I mean, if
No, you go.
are you okay?
Oh my bad.
So I agree with DJ because I do love that song. Granted, when I built my playlist for Cather, I had a timeline in mind, and so if I'm thinking current Cather, the closest song. The problem is, from levels 1 to 2, I don't have a song to represent Cather from level 1 to 2. I have everything before he left home, and everything after level 3.
The sound of silence.
Neither have happened. So I'd say personally, I guess I'd say Mountains by Jetterdine, featuring Rhett Walker.
Wow. I'm impressed that you knew all that.
Good job.
Well done.
All right, who's next?
Okay.
No, it's Melora.
Okay, so I have two songs and I can't decide between because when Melora is a sad boy, I would say I don't remember the artist name, but Thank you. yeah,
It's by Gabriel Oplin.
yeah,
Do you want me to say it?
yeah, sure,
My Mistake by Gabriel Aplin.
yeah. So when she's sad boy, I would say that, but when she's confident and like sassy, I would say Woman Like Me by Little Mix.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I respect that choice.
But for Kiyomura,
I don't have songs for Kiyomura
why don't you have songs for Kiyomura?
because I'm busy building a whole other world. I'm sorry.
Need to get some songs for Kiyomura, DJ.
Okay, I'll make a playlist for Kiyomura.
And a Ginger playlist.
Ooh.
True.
Yes, are there any songs for Ginger?
Not currently, but I will fix that. Chat, I'll do it.
I did have another question specifically about whether or not you guys had playlists for all of your characters.
Yes.
So I think people would like to hear these songs.
I would probably have to amend mine.
What kind of music do you have on your playlist?
It's a lot of for lack of a better word, like independent woman music, for lack of better terminology. A lot of it's explicit, so.
Good job, Hannah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's as explicit as Melora wishes she could be.
Correct.
Do you have a thing? So I think I've thought about this. I would love there to be. So we have a Paper Dungeon podcast on Spotify, of course. And I love the concept of the playlists made by the cast for their characters to be available to the Dungeoneers. I love that idea. We've talked about it. Maybe a way we could do it on Spotify, I'm not sure how it works, is maybe liking the playlist or something. The point being, at some point, we will probably have playlists available for the Dungeoneers to somehow get to.
Who are you?
So I just know that me and Hannah have very specific playlists because before stream, we will literally mute ourselves and just dance while we get into character with our playlists. And
Watching them vibe is a mood.
and sometimes like we'll sync up and we're listening to completely different songs, but we'll sync up. And that is all I need in the world.
I want you to notice that as soon as they both started moving, it was in sync. Nice. Do you guys have any good tips for people who are just starting their like career in D&D, like just getting into D&D?
It is okay if the first group you have is not the right group for you. It is very important to find a group that you feel very comfortable with, that you feel okay talking to your DM about things you are comfortable with, things you want to experiment with, and even like different play styles and things like that. It's okay if a group doesn't fit for you. And it's okay to tell your group that you don't think you're a right fit for that too.
And to add on to that, I think the main problem that I find new players running into, at least for when I DM them or DJ DMs them, because, we're very narrative driven and very like role play heavy players, right? That's just kind of how we like to run our games. I think a lot of people, the one problem that a lot of people tend to bring up is that they're like, I'm like, I don't know, I feel weird stepping into my character, or I'm nervous or anything, like, and the fact of the matter is that like, this isn't me like, trying to aggressively say this by any means, but like, when it comes to playing your character and letting that kind of vulnerability and allowing yourself just to like seep into those shoes and forget yourself and just be as that person would be, well, it may come easier to some. It is, in the grand scheme of things, it's a leap, right? Like, when I first started, I know I was nervous to play characters or like really role play that heavily, but I feel like you have to just remind yourself that that's why you're there, right? You're there to have fun, and if that's how you have fun, then like, just go for it. No one's gonna judge you for it. We're all sitting around a table rolling dice about make-believe events. Like,
If you're gonna be a nerd, be a
yeah,
little nerd.
if you're gonna be a nerd, just be a nerd. There's like this is your time, right? And yeah, it takes a jump, it takes a leap, and yeah.
I would say relieve yourself of the pressure to have all the rules memorized before you start. I have run into a lot of players that feel like they're like, but I don't know any of the rules. Like, I don't know all the rules. I don't think I could start playing. And like, we look up rules now playing, and we've been playing for years. Just like, so I understand it can be daunting, and there are so many, and it can feel like you wouldn't know what you're doing. But sometimes it's all right, because you'll have other players around you just gently reminding you, and gently. And you can have your book open. You can have your phone Googling. It's all about just being comfortable and having fun with your friends. And so if you don't know all the rules, it's okay. Just look them up, and you'll be fine. And it can be so much fun without knowing all the rules. It's okay.
My tip would be to other DMs out there, is to let your players be more involved with building the world and the lore and stuff like that. Like, don't be so in need of control that you don't allow them to have fun because you just completely vetoed whatever they did. And then it makes your life a lot easier when you don't have to come up with every single thing, and it allows for a lot of variety in your game and stuff like that. So yeah, just let your players be as involved as they want to be in the world building process, and I'm sure they'd enjoy that and makes your life easier. So yeah.
I've got a lot of thoughts on this. Eventually, I plan to have most of them in the blog. They aren't complete. There's a couple, but the biggest one that I can think of, and I've told pretty much anyone that I know that has like started to either play in a campaign or DM one, especially for DMs. Just do it. Just start it. You will never feel ready, ever. Even the most experienced DMs. I don't know of anyone who has ever like, I feel completely certain that everything in this session will happen according to plan. It won't. You won't be ready. But if you don't start, you never will. So just jump into it. It might be bad, but it'll be great. It'll be this beautiful, horrible thing. And don't be afraid to mess up, because it's just going to happen. And sometimes messing up is the best part of the game.
Totally. You
Strong
do it
Grant.
first, you do it worst, and history thanks you for it.
Hi, I'm Grant. I play Edward. So I would say when you're starting out, I know for me, I went into the game thinking, I don't know how much I like this. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's a big commitment, and you have to like think and you have to act and stuff. I don't know about that. But as you go, you do end up loving the game more. And for certain sessions and certain times when you feel like either the session wasn't as fun as the other ones, or you didn't perform as well, or if you wish you would have done a thing and you didn't, that can feel really disappointing and a little defeating. But even if you feel a little defeated, or that happens a few sessions in a row or whatever, obviously think through like the group you're in. But I just want to say, like, if you hold on for the sake of the story and the sake of your own development as a player, it totally pays off. Like, I can guarantee you, I mean, I still don't know the rules, haha. But like, I can guarantee you that all of us at some point were really uncomfortable. And we probably all felt defeated many times while we were playing. But those are the kinds of things that develop you as a player. So just be patient with yourself and allow yourself to give it time, because eventually it will totally pay off.
Piece of advice. See, you guys took all the good ones. I mean, I guess for me personally, I'd say, like, as a new player, try not to take up the spotlight. Which not to say that you can't have your cool moments as a player, and I think every player deserves to have their own cool moments. But I think a lot of times, sometimes, especially depending on the group dynamic and who's all playing and experience levels of everyone, there's the potential for like one player to be like the main guy who does everything, who like he's the main guy making sure the plot moves forward. He's the main guy doing this. He's the main guy. He's the main DPS. He makes sure to put himself on top. And like, I mean, I know like sometimes it's not even on purpose. It's just kind of accidental. Like maybe if you're like the most experienced player, and like then you have like a bunch of less experienced people, like it's easy for them to just follow your lead. So I'd say that's my that'd be my 2 cents about it, I guess.
Real quick, just to follow up on that, I mean, like, personally, something that I could sum up that honestly goes a long way as far as just having a better time, like, at the table, is investing in other people's experience, right? Being able to sit down and, like for instance, like Renaya's victory. That was our victory. As much as it was Renaya's victory, like, I was just as happy as I'm sure Lydia was when that happened.
And that was my favorite thing, was going back and working on the paper cuts and seeing just how excited you guys were too.
Yeah,
like that just made me feel even better about it.
Yeah, and that's key, right? It's key to be like to want your moments, but at the same time, like, understand that like everyone else is going to have their moments, and you should be happy for them. You should be excited them. You should be invested in everyone else's character just as much as you are in your own, right? Because you're going to spend a lot of time with them. You might as well get to love them, like, right? Like, you got to learn to love some aspect of them, or else it's just not going to be a fun time. So
Nice. Do you guys have any advice for people who are trying to, because quarantine's got us all shut down, and obviously you guys at least met Lydia and Hannah sort of online. Do you guys have any advice for getting into sort of the online D&D TikTok community?
Hi, everybody. So, I first started making TikToks in March, and I got a lot of comments basically saying, I would love to play, but I don't know how to find a group. So, I made a Facebook group to try to help people come together online and play, and it has over 1,200 members now, and I have gotten a lot of positive reviews that people have found really great friends to play with. So if you're looking for the link, I don't know if we could post it somewhere, but it's in my link tree, sooner or later, and it's called D&D Group Finder. And I've heard from a lot of people that they've been able to find really good groups. So that is my there's also Reddit pages that I post in the group. If the group itself doesn't help, there's also Reddit pages and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and also just don't be afraid to like reach out to someone. You know, obviously people that have huge followings can't always get on that one-on-one and answer DM and stuff like that because they're so busy, and there's tons of people doing that. But there's always people out there that are willing to respond to you and that are in the same boat as you and are looking for someone. So between that page and just having the bravery to reach out to someone, you know, it's what we did with Lydia. And so obviously this is born. So yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out to someone if you can too.
Don't be like Cather. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
Just had to toss that in, huh?
Nice.
Drew, how you feeling?
Does not compute.
That was for those of you following along at home, that was an error 404. The server was not found. All right. I want you to describe your character in just a few words. Like, what do you love the most about your character?
A few words. Oh, I get to start?
Give me
3 words? Yeah, 3 is usually few.
Just tell me what you love most about your character.
Okay. Okay.
However long it takes. However long it takes.
Here, I'll aim for like 5 words maybe. Kind, driven, devout. Well, that's similar to I like that too. See, I like it. It's a flaw, but I like it that he's kind of like what's a proper word? How can I say this? No, not naive.
Zealous.
Well, because we were talking. No, not passionate.
Use your words.
It's a flaw of him being too focused. So he's
Driven.
well, but yeah, but
He said headstrong.
yes, headstrong. Thank you.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you, Lydia. See, I knew I
Big
knew,
brain Lydia.
I knew that the word that yeah. Yeah.
Naive, wholehearted, seeking.
You gotta calm down here.
You are too aggressive.
Wait, who was that just spoke?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Grant, who plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
Nice.
was, well, if I were to choose just 3 words, I would say sad orc vibes. I don't know. Why I like Tarak? Just the secrets, the lore. I get to ruin other people's lives while playing. I normally only get to do that while I DM.
What more would you want?
But yeah, Tarak's great. Yeah.
Bold, precise, stubborn. Well, I was trying to go with like precise with like a lot of things.
Hot.
What did I say? Bold, precise, stubborn, soft, and perceptive, I suppose.
I'm about to like expose myself here, expose Haval a little bit, but stubborn. I feel stubborn. I wouldn't say naive. I feel like there's a better word for it, but it's not coming to mind right now. Yeah, he's very. Yeah, he's a bit optimistic. Yeah, he's a bit optimistic. And that's saying a lot because lately he's been kind of pessimistic. But I'd also say like that adds to the fact that he's not being pessimistic. This is quoting myself. DJ can attest to this. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic. And I feel like Haval is very much a realist, right? He like focuses on the reality of the situation and tries to focus on the reality of the situation. But the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, Havel's very afraid. And he doesn't seem like it, but like even on his best days, like I think Havel's very afraid and worried. But yeah, I think Havel's more flawed than he is. Like, you know, he's more than just a pretty. He's good at putting. He's very good at putting on that mask of the I'm the pretty tiefling, yada yada. I have everything under control. But I feel like at the end of the day, like I think if I were to choose one word, it'd just be flawed, like to the brim, in so many ways.
For Renaya, I'd say compassionate, insightful, learning, mysterious, and underestimated.
Oh, yeah.
We need a word bubble shirt for that. Yeah.
That's everyone.
I get the microphone again, I guess.
That was actually a really entertaining answer from Renaya, given how much DJ has bullied you in this campaign. Also, DJ, I noticed you were conveniently skipped. Kiyomura. Yeah.
Hannah, watch out. Gotcha.
Dodge.
I'm learning. Like Renaya.
I like compassionate. I thought that was a good word, and I think that would apply to Kiyomura. Not sure, but calculating, I would say. He very much is the type of person where he tries to reach out and plan.
Jacked.
Jacked is a good word. He's very, very, very well built. Score. Glistening.
Generally
This is
juicy.
why I skipped myself. But I also... I'm just gonna stop now. European is a fair word. Traditional.
What's funny is that you describe European, but every single time that we go up to Kiyomura, we're like, Kiyomura, he's like, what's up, bro?
Well, yeah. No, not in speech, but in mannerism. Yeah. Yeah. Traditional. He knows that his people view him as disappointing, so he's trying to work through that right now. There's a whole thing right there, but anyway, yeah.
How would each of the rest of you describe Kiyomura?
I'll take this. Man, the things to say about Kiyomura. I could go on and on.
Keep it PG.
Oh man, I think Ryan summed it up great. Himbo. Power bottom. Oh, just so many words. Chiseled. Handsome. Romantic, glistening. Good dancer. I assume.
My favorite part.
Oh man, I honestly no. You can stay over there. Just so many things. Shippable. I would say shippable. Oh man, just like a real ocean breeze, you know.
Who would
Honestly,
you ship Kiyomura with?
Yes. I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go the narcissist route. I will ship Kiyomura with himself.
How do you feel about Kiyomura Melancina?
Ooh. Now, okay. Now let's see. That's a lot to unpack. Mainly because she's dead. Which
Pre-death, obviously.
Look, okay, so pre-dead
Yeah,
Melancina?
pre-death. That'd just
Oh
be weird.
man. I'd say it's possible. I say that there's a potential future. Honestly, if he really puts his heart into it, I think that Melancina can change. I honestly think that if Kiyomura really puts his mind to
I
it,
think I need to take this. I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think he's doing pretty good.
I feel like Kiyomura, at the heart of it, is just the one who got away. And I know it hasn't happened yet, really, but I feel like he's probably broken a lot of hearts. He's just too good to be true, you know?
Kiyomura, the ultimate guy next door.
Did anybody else like to comment on Kiyomura, Drew?
Drew,
Drew, how do you feel about Kimura?
maybe Renaya. If you say good buddy, you will get slapped.
He is a. Thank you, Ryan. Actually, that's what I was looking for. Phenomenal friend.
He's a good buddy.
I'm gonna have to talk to you later.
Moving on. It's a lustrous lad.
If you need Wednesday,
A lustrous lad. I like that one too.
I'm okay with lustrous lad.
That's acceptable.
You can expand. This is why I wrote the
Now, see. Okay, wait. Now, is this how Drew feels or Cather?
Drew.
Oh,
And
well.
Cather.
Mostly Drew. Also Catherine.
Both in that order.
Cather's not a robot.
That's true.
So Cather can say good buddy.
Cather knows how to feel love. I'm really sorry.
Just plug him in again. Move on.
Do you want us to move on?
This has deteriorated into what seems to just be a Kiyomura love fest.
Like I said, I haven't actually spoken to Kiyomura.
But you've seen him.
I waved at him. So he's a good waver.
He has arms.
So Ryan thinks he's like freaking sick. Like that's a dope character. Havel genuinely thinks he's kind of boring and isn't really all that interested in him. He has I know, but he has daddy issues, and there's only room for one person with daddy issues in this party, and it's not who you think it is.
You can make him another one. You can become.
Stop right there.
Oh no. We've already talked about how you feel about Kiyomura. We can move on to the next question.
All right. So the next question was, how do you guys get your character inspiration? Like, do you guys sit down and think, hey, this is the concept I want to go with? Or does it like hit you like a light bulb one day while you're like in the shower? Or you like walking along the sidewalk and you're just like, hey, that looks like a cool elf and I'm going to design Kiyomura. Like what?
For Kiyomura specifically, I want a character that they could rely on, and someone that they could that could help them out, especially because when I first introduced him, I thought that they were going to be fighting Melancina much sooner, when you guys probably weren't quite as prepared for her, and so I thought that you guys would probably need a buddy to help out with that, a good friend.
Great pal.
So yeah, and then when it came to like his design and stuff like that, I just had a lot of ideas for horned elves because they're one of the homebrewed races that we have, and so I wanted to just introduce this guy who's very traditional with their a lot of their traditions and culture, and be able to introduce that and help build the world and your guys' interest in the world, along with helping you guys out with the current arc that you're in. So that's why my inspiration for Kiyomura was, if that was what you were asking.
I'm asking all of you individually.
Sweet.
How do you guys get your inspiration for building characters and whatnot?
Well, okay.
That was fantastic.
So, for me, I usually, like I said before, I kind of think of the energy that I want to go for. But for this one, I actually started first. Well, no, I started with the energy that I wanted to go for. And also, I wanted to do a fun accent for it. And the accent that Melora has, it's kind of like a fusion of like Northern Irish and like Scottish phrases together, and that's like the easiest accent. It just comes really naturally to me, so I was like, I should probably do this. And I just love red hair in a general sense, and so I wanted her to have red hair, and then it just like, I know, yes, shocking, so shocking, but she's basically if Merida meets Tauriel from the Hobbit movie specifically, because she's not in the book, and also depression.
Real quick, I just want to say, because this is my favorite joke that I've ever made about the group, but I'm convinced we have yet to see hear her actual voice. She is always in accent.
Yes,
because all of them are flawless. Therefore, we have yet to hear her actual voice.
Do I even know my actual voice?
That's the question.
So, for as far as inspiration goes for Havel, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's a mixture of like 3 different things, and I don't want to like tell you guys them because that'd give away a lot. But without like,
it sounds like there's a lot to Havel that hasn't been revealed.
maybe. Anyways, as far as like design goes, without revealing too much, I didn't have much say in it. And to top that all off, as far as his accent goes, I don't. Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing though: is I still switch between like during different intonations and stuff like that, and that's actually a purposeful choice, mainly because of the subclass that I'm going into. It has a very specific like ability that I get that would imply that I'd be able to like change inflection very well, and more specifically, like, so this isn't much of a secret. I don't really care. Havel's going to be a mastermind rogue, and as a
you heard it first here.
As a 3rd level mastermind rogue, you get, after a minute, you can speak as if you are a local of the region from just listening to that person. And Havel, growing up the way he grew up, has been in like exposed to a ton of people and their different dialects and stuff. So like that's why when I speak as Havel, he'll sometimes speak a little bit more like Melora, or if talking to Cather, he'll like slowly start slipping into his accent, or like when Havel himself is speaking, he'll like sometimes have harder R's or sometimes roll his R's. And it's just it's a weird like mishmash, but that's mainly because like, you know, it's a skill. It's literally a skill that he has, and he's going to use it, and he needs to practice it. So, yeah.
Mine's actually pretty simple. I just decided I wanted to be the BBEG. And so that's what I did. But no, I get a lot of inspiration from music, from artwork, like D&D artwork, Pinterest. That's all I look at. But another really big thing that I put into my characters is I put a lot of myself into them. Just because it helps me connect more, and I think Ryan agrees with me. But yeah, that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from.
Very similar to Lydia, I also try to put at least a little bit of me in most of my characters, just because it's easier for me to role play and to relate to them and what they're going through. But also, I purposely make sure that there are things that are different about myself, because then I can explore those emotions and those feelings. In regards to like general character concepts, it usually ends up being like I'll be inspired by like I'll have like a period of like a month where I see like a bunch of different characters from different movies or shows or books or all this other stuff. I'm like, oh hey, that little bit about that guy's kind of cool. Oh, and that little bit about this person is kind of cool too. And so then eventually it becomes like a conglomeration of like 20 people into one. So, yeah.
So I have a lineage, or I have a tendency since I've begun playing to try my best not to project myself into the character I'm playing, because I really, really enjoy things that are unique, things that are challenging to play, things that are just different to me, because it's more exciting that way for me. But Edward is different. Edward is the first character that I've ever played that I intentionally attempted to, 1, project some of my own things into, and 2, really hopefully tell a very good story and have a really good message by the end of his arc. I have a lot of plans. I'm not going to say really any of them.
Are you sure?
I'm going to give a little glimpse, but I'm not really going to give anything major away or anything like that. But I really hope that by the end of it, Edward gives a little bit of an example of learning about the world and learning about people and love and what's meaningful, what's worthwhile. And so his journey, I feel very closely connected to as Grant. And so me playing Edward, that's a challenge for me, though, because I'm not used to that. But it's also been really rewarding and very fun for me as well.
There we go. When I was coming up with a track, I really wanted to play something kind of surprising and a bit contradictory. Because so what came to mind, first of all, I love the subclass Redemption Paladin. It's one of my favorite subclasses. I'm a big support player, pretty much any game that I play. And Redemption, yeah. Look, if your enemies are dead, you can farm lane. Your ADC can farm lane. But so Redemption Paladin, I was really interested in. I'm like, what would be something you wouldn't see as a Redemption Paladin? And my first thought was, oh, they're nonviolent. Orcs are very commonly viewed as like very aggressive and scary and brutal. And even when designing the orc like lore and stuff, I kind of wanted to not necessarily avoid that, but I will say the things that you have seen of orc culture may not fully represent who they really are. It's crazy. But yeah, when making Tarak, I just really wanted to be kind of an enigma. And then I was like, well, I want him to be, everyone else is going to be super hot. So I want to be ugly. I just want to be gross. And then when coming up with like how he would speak, part of that is relating to his backstory, like where he learned like common and stuff. And then also like the tone of voice is based off of, because he has that scar and those tusks, he needed to have a lisp because he has no side where his voice can just come out of, and he has tusks, so you your jaw forward and bring your voice up to the front of your throat, and then you sometimes have weird tongue stuff that makes your R's kind of strange. Awesome. Yeah, that's how I came up with Tarak and how he talks and what I wanted him to be like and look and feel.
Nice. Do you guys individually have a favorite like tidbit of lore?
Oh, start with Aaron.
I'm not answering this question.
I have so many.
DJ is exempt from this question.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just don't spill anything.
Actually, no, I can't go first. I have too much. Someone else, take this. Take this from me.
I might
job.
have one, but
Ryan, take it. You know this.
We're panicking.
Okay, my favorite tidbit of lore is what I put into the world of the idea of fate. Because when I came to DJ, I'm like, hey, is fate a thing? He's like, not really. And so I'm like, can I make it a thing? It's not spoilers. This is what I put into the world.
It means Tarak's right.
Well, no, I created fate. This is what I put into the world. I created the history of the stories and stuff like that. So which I think is really cool. And there is actually a really cool story about fate that hasn't come up yet, which I'm sad about, but is fine because eventually maybe story time will happen and I can tell the story.
we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I'm so excited.
So yeah.
So my favorite is definitely Malice. Just Malice's story of how just because you're made to be something, that doesn't mean that has to be the path you follow. And just how he's adorable and you can't not love him. And I think what was so cool was how perfectly, because when I was talking to DJ about making Renaya, we needed a god for her, and I was telling him what I wanted, and Malice lined up so perfectly with it, and Malice is so cool, man. That's all.
Because saying any more than what I'm about to say would be blasphemy.
You watch your words, son.
When we created the gods, we talked a lot about a lot of different rules and a lot of different things and a lot of different concepts regarding the gods. And the coolest thing that we created, I feel like, as a unit, and I personally had the most fun writing. Without going too far into detail, I'll just leave you with the name of it. It is known as the Divine Right. It has a more specific name, but it's friggin' gnarly, dude. It's so cool. And we probably will never see it. We probably will never even touch on it unless something very bad happens. But it is so cool, and I'm so I had so much fun writing it. It's my favorite little thing that we made that might never be seen.
I was really scared because I didn't know how to answer this, but I guess just like all the Fae courts and everything going on with the Fae, I'm really enjoying.
Thank you.
I have something small before I hand it off to Aaron because he'll have a thing to say. First of all, Ryan, that was so ominous. I'm petrified. Second of all, I really like DJ's map making. I know we already showed this one off. I don't know if you can do this but if you could show the city of Athala map, that thing is so detailed, and DJ did that all by hand. So for me, I don't know if that counts as lore, but I think it does, right? That's how the city works. That's really cool to me that you put in that much effort and make it look gorgeous.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh, jeez, I am still in a way. This question, God, they're so hard.
No, pick one.
So I made all of. Oh God, and there's the dwarves. No, DJ.
That might be my favorite thing.
Okay. I can at least fully explain that one.
Yeah.
So, when I was coming up with the orc stuff, I was like, hey, I think it would be really cool if there would be dwarves in the like mountains surrounding. He was like, oh crap, I don't have anything for dwarves either. So I did that too. Yeah, the Alisar dwarves. I think my favorite bit of lore is I wanted the orcs to be very superstitious. Oh God, there's that too. I'm sorry, I could go on for ages. But the orcs kind of fear the Alisar dwarves because of their superstitions. They believe that in the like braids of their beard and in the like rings and jewelry that they have in their hair, they trap souls that fly around the mountains. That's what they believe the mist that covers mountaintops is the souls of the dead. And the best part is they're not completely off. The Alisar dwarves, when they forge those ringlets and jewelry, they take the ashes of the dead. And so when an Alisar dwarf dies, they take their body, cremate it, and then turn it into, sometimes they pressurize it to turn it into jewels or just mix it in with gold to create those ringlets. And then they can even like bring them into battle with them. So they literally have the souls of their ancestors like guarding them as they fight and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the warriors of the Alisar Mountains are spirit guardian barbarians. So, yeah, that was super super cool. And Aaron, I remember him approaching me about that and being like, "Yo, like, what if they're like they actually channel the the mist is actually the spirits of the dead and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Dude, what if they're all just like spirit guardian barbarians?" And then we created the whole thing about the jewelry and how it works and stuff like that. So yeah, I really love that bit of lore too. That's really really cool.
So yeah, that ring he gave Renaya is pretty significant, eh?
Anyway.
Nothing.
All right. So how many of you have DM'd before? Nice. So, question as the DM side of you. Got any tips for DMs?
I guess I can answer this. Hannah has a whole thing about DM tips on her link tree if you want to go check her out while you're doing that. I kind of answered this earlier, but I guess another one would be don't be afraid to abuse outside sources. Like just with Havel's sticky fingers, it's really nice to just have charts up and available, things that he can roll on and stuff like that, and then play with them and do whatever you want with them, like curse them, stuff like that.
So my piece of advice is less about like the act of DMing and more about the preparation and the building of the story. But I would say if you're writing a campaign or even if you're writing a one-shot, which I do a lot of as well, don't pressure yourself to write chronologically because it might just drive you crazy. Write what's in your brain right now, and sometimes that's the easiest way because in the middle of writing, like if you know that in the middle you want this super cool thing to be set up, then write that first. You don't have to write how they all come together at the beginning. You can figure that out later. Write what's in your brain right then, and you'll probably avoid writer's block that way too, because for me, writer's block comes from trying to force myself to write a certain way, even if my brain is in another place. So start where you want to start, and sometimes that just makes it easier to find the other things that you were having trouble thinking up with at first. So that's what I would say.
This comes easier with time and practice, I feel. But my biggest tip is just being okay with running things off the cuff, right? Getting comfortable with that concept, right? It's cool to write things down, like write things down, please. Like it'll say, I'm doing better at that. I used to just not write things down and just keep it in my head, and full honesty, I mean, it worked. It was painful for me. I'm not good at making maps, man. But in not writing maps though, I also kind of built on the style of like, giving a narrative picture to people, right? That's like another thing. Like if you have trouble with giving an idea of the location that they're at or kind of like the feel, write down key like adjectives or descriptors that will help. So that way at least they know kind of the vibe that you're giving off. But like to go back to my initial tip, like seriously, like be okay with running off the cuff. If you're in a weird spot, or you're just like, man, that'd be really cool if that could happen, you're the DM, dude, go for it. Like as long as it's like not going to impede on the party's fun, or it's not gonna just outright kill them, right? Like just go for it, man. Dude, have rivers run upstream. I don't care.
So I have two. One that really helped me when I was getting ready to DM was watching other DMs, and seeing how they respond to things, seeing how they react to things. And then the other thing, which I really love because DJ is so amazing at it, is being so supportive of your players. So like if your players want to do something, DJ will make it happen. Like I think the best way I can put it is let your players be heroes. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have downfalls and emotional things happen and sacrifices and things like that. But for me as a DM, my favorite things were definitely the moments where my players felt on top of the world. To get somebody to like that kind of excitement and that kind of happiness is just the coolest thing ever. And so just really being in tune with your players, and honestly, just watch DJ. He's got some really good things going.
He DMs at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Monday.
Always, DJ is always at the Paper Dungeon.
So it's been a long time since I've DM'd, and I haven't DM'd a whole lot, so I don't honestly have a whole lot of experience. So in regards to general, I mean, I can really only give general advice what I've seen other DMs do and what I think works best. And like, I really think the whole idea of doing like solo one shots with characters is really cool, because then it's a good time for like for the player and the DM to try and get a better grasp of the character and how they feel and how they react to things. But then also, it's just, especially for like our case, like, with us streaming it, it was a cool way for us to highlight each of the characters in their own little start of an adventure before we all came together. And I think I'd say that's, something to look into if your players are able to, get together on the one-on-one. I think that's really cool. So.
Haha, I've DM'd like 3 times.
Oh, you did great.
And they were like probably a few months ago. I quite enjoyed it. But I'm a busy guy, but everyone's a little busy. And so like I would prep a lot of it and then like wait, and then prep a lot of it and then wait. And so eventually it just kind of lingered. Honestly, and I enjoyed the preparation because it is fun. Like I have 2 things. One, go as hard as you want. Like there's no limitations. Like do what you want. Make sure it's fun for your players and have fun as well. Secondly, don't go into it thinking you need to know everything about the world, everything about every shop, everything about every NPC. Just walk into it knowing the basic flow, and then just like literally roll with the punches, and just the players are there for the same reason. Just like sit there, have a good time, make stuff happen, and you'll be fine. That's me, Grant, who plays Edward on the Paper Dungeon with my DM mind. Thank you. I'll pass it to Aaron now, who plays Tarak on the Paper Dungeon.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I play Melora in real life. So I also kind of have 2 tips. First of all, sometimes you want to scare your players. Now, how are you going to do that? And the answer, 3 things. 1, too many, wrong place, and just too much. All right? If you take any one thing and do either of those 3 and just add a whole lot of it or put them in the weird place, maybe they have arms as legs. Maybe they have hands as mouths.
Maybe they have tongues all over their bodies.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they have tongues all
It's the
over
same
their bodies.
concept as to why...
Eyes inside of their
Look,
neck
that's
so
fine.
they can see.
It's the same reason why one spider is like... That's a little weird. Now, a whole lot of spiders, that's a problem. Hannah. But for like legitimate DM tips, I would say for NPCs. NPCs are a really big part of the game. If you have recurring NPCs, one of the best things you can do is remember that NPCs are people too. And you don't have to go like full flesh backstories, right? Even just one little thing, like, oh, this NPC really dislikes this certain other person. And it's like, you don't even have to have a huge reason for it. Just that little thing, it makes them into like people that are actual people. Like it's not just, I have quest, taketh. Like they become people that you can interact with and have fun, and then you can flesh out their backstory as the characters ask questions. Just have fun, make it up. I know, like Bailey's grandpa on Between the Rows. Hey, tune in Wednesday. Really wasn't a fan of the Winchester grandfather. That was never expounded upon, but you could see like when they were mentioned, he was like, I don't know. And it's just that little bit of information that really brings life to the game and to the people in it, and brings people closer to like what's actually going on.
Nice. That's great. I am fresh out of questions.
All right. Does anybody have one last question?
Yeah, I saw some in the chat. Do any of us have plans on eventually cosplaying our characters?
Heck yes.
In passing this to Lydia, I will say I during Halloween I did buy a purple color palette and horns. So yes.
And he looks
Yes,
super
please.
hot in them.
I haven't even worn them. Those are the wrong horns.
Might be.
I actually have already. Before we actually started the campaign, I got a Renaya costume, and I got pictures. I have a picture posted on Instagram, and then I have a TikTok that's advertising the campaign. It's a little far away, but it's still there. And you want to see me looking like a Renaya?
Yes.
I am in the process of wanting to get stuff for it. It's on like my wish list because I don't have a job at the moment, and I hope that when I do have a job, then I'll be able to buy things with adult money and do adult things like that. And so I have everything like picked out. I just don't have the money for it right now. But
Merchant can buy it.
Hmm?
What? Buy the merch.
I want to dress up as Edward.
No, probably not.
You keep hitting Hannah with the cord.
Wait, did you want this?
I mean, I'm willing to maybe paint myself blue.
DJ, do you have any
Well, see,
plans
I
to
only
dress
say
up as
blue
the
because
shirtless
that's the only
version of
color you
Kimura?
guys will accept.
There's so much happening right now.
There's a lot happening. There's like so much conversation. I mean, I'd rather be purple though, because purple is more accurate. Yeah, like a blue purple.
Is there anything else? Yeah.
Havel, why did you yell at me?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
you guys need some space? I'll try to.
No, I'm not giving it to him.
Oh, okay.
I'm just giving it time so that way we can get a good shot on this.
Whoa.
Havel. Okay, Havel yelled at you. You know how I mentioned earlier that Havel's a very afraid person? Havel yelled at you mainly because he was afraid. So, if you guys have watched, if you guys watched the like session 0, Havel went through a bit, kind of doing that, like a little bit, not a lot, but a bit. And even previous to that, Havel went through a lot. And Havel, for lack of better terms, has just recently like been given a sock. Dobby is a free elf. And he was very excited to like be free and to go out into the world and interact with humanity once more, after many things. And he hopped into this going like, friends, yes. And then Renaya shows up along with Tarak and Edward, and Edward's over here being complainy, and Tarak is being firm. And and Renaya is just like, I have this lost child. They're like, we have this lost child. Like, yeah, you're literally like, I lost a child. And like actually Havel has a real like huge soft spot for children. Like, that's like when you were like, hey, I have an orphan boy that could potentially be in harm's way. Havel was like, okay, cool. What can I do to commit myself to this to help this kid? Right? Because, like, I mean, this isn't much of a secret. Havel is an orphan. Yeah. Havel is an orphan. So when you were like, an orphan boy is in danger, he was just like, cool.
It's me.
So yeah, and like he yelled mainly because like you were being like, I know like Renaya didn't know a lot, but Havel didn't know that Renaya didn't know a lot. Havel assumed that you knew more than you were letting on, and that you were just trying to be secretive about it.
But you know what assuming does.
I know. It makes an ass out of Havel, and I mean, and that's just the conundrum that we get into. Havel yelled at you because he was just like, you need to give me more information than this, because I mean, I said it on stream, I said it after the fact, Havel said it. What Havel did that day, he gave up a huge piece that he had in play, right? Like that, like doing what he did, isn't something to take lightly, especially for himself, especially in the position that he's in now. And yeah, he was afraid. He was scared. He was shook. Yeah. He was shooketh, and he didn't know how to take that out aside from like question you, and then when you didn't respond, he was just like, you know, like he was just like, come on, man, like give me more. Why can't you give me more? Yeah, and you don't have more. And I mean, Ryan's sorry. I'm sorry for what I said when I was role playing, but
It's not okay, but it's okay.
It's not okay.
like yeah, like Ryan's sorry, but Havel, I mean, yeah, and Havel is sorry, but like he also feels partially justified for it. Like it at the time, like those were the emotions that arose in him, and that's just how it went.
I have some questions. I have two in specific. First one is actually for you, Havel. Does Havel plan to get his coin back, or obtain another one?
That's a hard one to answer.
That's up to you. Don't spoil.
It's one of those things where those coins in particular have very specific weight to them.
Like pounds or?
Yeah. Grams, actually.
Maybe.
And while he could potentially get a new one, like that's definitely not out of the question, especially with the way everything is right now. I don't think Havel finds it fitting.
Sacrifice Ginger and I'll give you one.
I'm sorry.
No.
For those of you playing along at home, sacrifice Ginger, and I'll give you one.
No.
Type !Pat in the chat if you'd like the Pat Ginger.
Spam F in the chat for Ginger.
My next question is for a certain eligible bachelor by the name of Edward. Now, Edward is a handsome, rich young man in the prime of his life, surrounded by a bunch of other hot people. I think what we really all want to know here is, does Edward have any plans to pursue any relationships? Just really get get in that hot market. You know?
That's a loaded question.
You better believe it is. And I'm gonna hand it over to the one and only Grant, who plays the one, the only, the hot man Edward on the Paper Dungeon.
I picture a whole crowd cheering. That's what I picture. I know all you all cheering in chat. So here's the thing with Edward. A lot's going on. He has a lot in his mind right now. He's processing, you know. He hasn't had time to slow down and look around. He hasn't had time to really get to know the people in the party. And as he gets more comfortable with the people he's around, you know, he might say a thing or two, maybe write a poem, maybe a song, maybe gift a flower. We don't know to who. We don't know when. But what we do know is that Edward is trained. Edward is trained with words, and he's trained with charisma.
The art of love.
And he does have a big old heart. So what I'm trying to say is Edward is good with words when he needs to be. So stay tuned.
And to our next eligible bachelor.
I'm just gonna put this out there right now. Haval is a raging pansexual. He doesn't really care who you are, what you've done. He himself is a freak.
Hashtag Team Havoc.
How did we get here?
Now that being said, now him being a pansexual and a freak are both very separate things, but exist at the same time. Now that being said, Howell may try to slide into that fellow's money. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. Just he missed it, but we here.
Enough sliding.
It's good.
Playing Dragon Chess later.
Oh yeah, we're playing.
That's a fair amount of
playing more than
leaving.
just some games, you know, making moves.
Someone else's coins.
All right. Okay, we're probably trying to wrap that up, right?
Yep.
I do have a quick question for DJ, and I think this is a good question to end on. DJ, how much?
Hold on. Who's DJ?
DJ's our magnificent DM, and he's hot.
And who are you?
So, I'm Grant, and I play Edward on the Paper Dungeon cast.
Anyway.
Okay, you're distracting me, guys. I'm trying to do this thing. DJ,
Yes.
how much of the main plot, the general overarching plot of this campaign, did you previously have conceived before we started? How much of it is being developed as we play, and how much are the characters influencing it? 3 questions, but all basically one little bundle.
I'll put it this way. I have 2 notebooks. One of them is for campaign planning, and one of them is for session planning. And it's organized in several different ways. I have it basically broken down into levels 1 through 20 as the overarching story, and like which levels are which levels are part of which arc. And then I have the same thing going for all your guys' characters.
Wow.
It's not completely filled out by any means, because things change and the campaign changes and characters, their end goals change and stuff like that. But I suck at improv, and so I try and plan as much as I can.
So what I'm hearing is you basically have an idea of the whole story already.
Potentially.
Woo! All right.
Or at least this little arc. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
Here you go.
All right. Well, that's this week's talk show, special episode of the Paper Dungeon.
Wow. Good job, guys.
Anyone got anything to say?
Tune in this Wednesday, this time, for Between the Rows. Everyone's sad, and I'm going to explain why they're sad.
Also, yeah, check out our merch store. That went live today, so please do check out our merch
You
store.
can get masks, shirts, mugs,
All the things, stickers.
Can I
all
get
the gear?
tomatoes, green beans. We don't actually sell food.
Can I
Yeah.
get boxers with Haval on them?
Yes. That will be coming soon.
We're working
Nice.
on a
Yeah,
body
we're
pillow.
working. We're trying. Yeah.
Have a body pillow.
Can it be a body pillow of Kiamore?
That's even better.
There's 2.
Um,
You could get the duo
Yeah.
One for each side.
So if you want to see all that and more, please do check out our merch store. Also support us on our Patreon if you have the money. Otherwise, thank you for joining us.
That's
And
right.
thank you for enjoying the content.
Yep. He has to
DJ,
say the thing.
pass it off to you to sign us off.
Wait, what was that? It was something about good night and good luck. Wait,
And Godspeed.
something about Godspeed and good luck.
Good luck.
Good
and
Godspeed,
See you next
Dungeoneers.
week.